Peace and love, family. How y'all doing?
Yeah, he's on now.
Greetings to you, cousin. You know how much I be talking when I'm muted, and I just be talking, you know. It's good to see you, cuz. How are you?
Talk to you later.
Okay.
Doing well. It's good to see you too.
So
Twice over the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a meeting tonight. Armand's been doing something surrounding technology for the group. And I need to, it's probably solar. Armand came through my solar sessions and began building solutions. So he's probably doing something around solar, which is fantastic.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
We're all about renewable energy over here.
And you know, at the end of the day, absolutely everything that we ever do spins into one specific goal: self-sufficiency. So
yes.
Provide it for yourself, brother. In cozy.
Ooh, an honor.
Right. He's awake.
He just got on to tell us he going back to sleep. Oh, man, gotta get some rest.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what he usually do. I'm gonna
come in and say hi.
And I'm gonna. There he is. There he is. There's my COO. You're muted. We could just see your lips are bumping. You know, we can't see. We just see you. Yeah, right. It's my brother. I'm gonna try to go live on Facebook. I don't know that it will work. Sometimes it gets flaky, but if I could ask one of you, either in Cozy or Tamika, to monitor the Facebook, because my guess is that there will be questions that happen at Facebook that I can't answer. I don't see Facebook if I go live. So if
I'll do it. I don't mind at all.
So I'm going to try this. The last time I tried to go live, it didn't really work. So we will see.
Tamika, if you do that, you can come back on here and type the question, and I can see if I can answer while Peter's talking.
Okay, say that one more time. Let me turn my volume up. Say that one more time, bro.
What you can do is, while you're monitoring Facebook, you can come back here, type the question in, and I can try to answer it while Peter's talking.
Or
okay.
if she can
relay the question,
yeah, I can answer it.
Yeah, or what I'll do is if I can answer the question, I'll answer it. If not, okay. I'll just take a parking lot of questions. And then when you open it up for questions, I'll read the ones, or I'll type them in the chat, either one.
Okay,
or both.
Fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
That way nobody misses the questions.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right, so I'm gonna go to Facebook. What I'm gonna do is go to Facebook on my phone so I could be here at the same time. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab my phone.
All right. How are you, Brother Ibrahim?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am well, my brother. Glad to see you in the room. Glad to see everybody here. I just got home a little bit, Peter. So I'm going through all this stuff on WhatsApp that you created for me yesterday. That
on WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to deal with that, and I had to let them. We'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm. So I see people joining in. A lot of folk, welcome. I see the Richardsons, my family. What's good with y'all? Mama Shakisha, are you serious? That's Mama from Ghana?
Hello. It's me from Ghana.
Oh my goodness.
How are you? How are you?
Oh, I'm well. Mama Zulu will join me in just a moment.
Oh my goodness. My goodness. You know, it was almost a year ago that I was there in you all's wonderful company and performing that body of work in Ghana. And I wish I never left.
Oh, blessings.
Indeed. And you know I'm sipping on that good Ugandan coffee. That's the only thing. Ever since we began importing that coffee from Ghana, I ain't never drank another cup. But what am I going to do? You know, what am I going to do? Drink some Colombian roast? What? No, I can't do that. We drink an African. The goal here, isn't it to replace every single product that we use or consume with one being provided by way of Africans? Ain't that the goal?
Like, I mean, that's called freedom where I come from.
Do business only with yourselves, right?
There's enough of us.
Right, bruh.
Yay, bo.
There's enough of us.
And furthermore, with a little bit of an intelligence, right? So we see, you know, kind of how this world is shaking out, you know, over the last 2,000 years. Wouldn't it make sense to be the boss of what they're addicted to, right? If they are addicted to coffee, what is coffee, a $500 billion industry per year?
I think it's trillion.
My goodness.
I mean, why not go to the market when we have the best soil, the best environment, atmosphere, everything? Why not just go to the market? Where you get it from?
Who's that? Nanya. Who's that?
That's Nanya. The brother. He's got another phone, I guess.
Yeah.
Nanya Ibrahim, have you got somebody else on another line?
No, he's fine now. He muted.
No, he must have.
Now, the other thing that we have over the industrialized world. There's Mama Adjoa, I see.
I got my brother and sister Richardsons on the phone.
Yes, indeed. The other thing that we have over the industrialized world.
Man, peace and blessings.
Peace, my brother.
Yeah, I know. That's why I brought her out here.
Oh, we got Gwen on the line.
Yes, we do. I see them all joining in.
That's all right, sister.
That's what's up.
Brother Pettis, Brother Coleman.
How's it going, fam?
It's going well, my brother. Going well, my brother.
Yes.
It's
like we're gonna have a full house. I'm getting excited now. Watch out.
Oh Lord, y'all gonna get the COO excited. He gonna fall asleep.
Oh, here we go. I see we got Deidre down there, so I'm smiling now.
Yeah,
now I'm smiling.
Man.
I got Sister Cade on the line.
My sister.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
It's been a long time.
Veronica's here.
Since we've had.
You're all right.
It's been a long time since we've done kind of a Q&A, you know? And
yeah.
I want to, and this is only, I apologize, it's simply because I'm pulled in so many different directions, trying to get things done. So many conversations. My sleep pattern for 10 years, well, you know what, I'm not gonna just say my sleep pattern. Mine, Lisa's, and Brother Nkozi's sleep patterns for the last 10 years, forget about it.
Lydia.
Forget it. We haven't been able to sleep in 10 years with all this work, you know.
Sleep is a misnomer.
Yeah,
it's something you do.
Not here.
Once we get free, we'll get some rest, I guess. I try to get some rest.
There you go, you know. So I have not had the opportunity to schedule these and run them as frequently as I might like. But I do want to get on a cadence where, who's that? Let me mute her. I want everybody to mute themselves unless they're asking a question, okay? I do want to get on a cadence whereby these happen quite frequently, quite regularly, so that we can keep, everyone abreast of what's going on. And there's a very clear reason why that needs to happen. And that is that, oftentimes people will say, what's the benefit to membership? Well, the challenge there, and the reason that's a moving target, is because the benefit is ever expanding. I have a conversation this morning with somebody from Ethiopia, and suddenly we're going to start a project in Ethiopia. If I have a conversation with somebody in Somalia for whatever that product might be, suddenly we're going to open up a project in Ethiopia. So the benefit associated with being a ledge member is ever expanding. At one point, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Nkosi, but at one point, I think we had a document that illustrated what the benefits to membership were. And then what happened was, like, the next day, there were 3 more benefits added. The day after that, there was more benefit. While it was a living document. It was a living document, but it was almost impossible to keep up with, right? Because again, every day there was expansion. Now, in that, he done fell down and went to sleep. Oh, okay, there he is.
I know.
In the launch and deploy of projects that spun up and came into our purview, the challenge is that every time you step to the plate, you're not going to hit a home run, right? So every project doesn't turn into gold. Some of the projects won't work.
Fizzled out, yeah.
Right. Some of the projects simply won't work. And so in that regard, what we do is we shuffle, we move forward. So I bring it back around because the document relative to benefit associated with membership is ever growing, ever changing, right? It was very hard to keep up with. Mama Ajua, oh my, greetings to you. I wish I was back in Ghana. I just told Mama Shakisha. I have seen what our youth in Ghana is doing relative to solar power. And let me tell you something from my perspective, Mama Shakisha, Mama Zulu, Mama Ajua, we have been successful. You see those youth lighting up Africa. We have been successful. Now, again, we're talking about youth. So we haven't yet been able to kind of get them, cohesive and moving in a common direction, but we're going to get there. The hard part has already been done. I traveled 2,000 miles. We put on aggressive schedules relative to training those youth. We vetted those youth. We did all of those things with the idea that they were going to be able to pick it up and run with it, and it was going to do something beneficial for their lives. And guess what? It has. It has changed their lives. Now,
definitely.
It's definitely changed their lives. You see what these brothers are doing out there, brothers and sisters. They are out there lighting up Africa. So it changed their lives. Now what we got to do is we got to trick them into being a unit, And we gonna get there. I'm not. I am not discouraged. Y'all did a mighty, mighty work. I am not.
And the work
discouraged.
is not done.
It's not.
We're prepared to continue.
That's right. One of the things that a lot of people kind of look at me weird when I say, but they get it after a moment. It's just that we've not had this space to be able to think in this manner. But what we have to do is produce models and solutions that answer our needs 1,000 generations into the future, and then work backwards. Why? the conditions and the circumstances that are in place. I don't care where you go, Jamaica, Haiti, if you go to Africa, in America, in the UK, all over the world, the conditions and the circumstances that are in place that are affecting us as a people were not put in place by the people that are alive today. They were put in place by people 300 years ago, 400 years ago. And they did these things knowing that they would never live to see the result of what they did, and they still did it. That is the only way to solve our problems, to have that same resolve times 10. So when you see us in Tanzania, it might seem crazy. Why is Pete planting out a fruit grove? Why in the world is this man planting out so much land and producing food? Because 1,000 years into the future, our progeny are going to wake up on a Sunday morning and they're going to need to eat.
And
So
they'll just grab it from the tree, go back into the house and eat.
Brother, we're going to have the water filtered and in place right there where they ain't got to ask no other man. We're going to have their power in place and in their hands so they ain't got to ask no other man. You've heard me say it ad nauseum. Food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, education. If you have those things, what do you need currency for? Every bit of currency that you ever touch, you will exchange to produce food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, and education for your family. It's fairly simple.
Goes in a circle.
Cut out the middleman.
Goes in a circle.
Cut out the middleman and do it for ourselves. So the focus of the Ledge Group has never been one lifetime. If I wanted to go to Africa, build myself a house, and live there and live out my life in a new and learn a new culture, you see a lot of people repatriating and doing that, right? You see them go and they get their Social Security, they got their SSI, and they go to Africa and they build a house and they live for the rest of their lives in Africa. That's awesome. Guess what? The focus of that individual is one lifetime. They're focused on them. That's not what the Ledge Group is. It is not one lifetime. If, again, as I say, if that was the case, I could have always gone to Africa. I could have been in Africa 10 years ago, right? That's not the goal of Africa. It's not one lifetime. It's 1,000 lifetimes in the future. Somebody must produce the body of work that has the vision to focus 1,000 years into the future, not right now. And that's what the Ledge Group is. We have an eye on the future. Yes, we are very practical, right? We're very practical. The fact is, as you look throughout the nation and you look throughout our people and you consider the solutions that they are speaking to and you consider the models and the plans and everything that's going on, unfortunately, what happens is they're way too close to the issue. So we never define for ourselves what is holding us in state. You listen to our most illustrious teachers. They're telling you we need to get an education, right? Well, so if you get an education, what is it, medical school? So you're going to do 7 years? You are counting on white supremacy to feed you, clothe you, provide you water for 7 years while your plan materialized. You're counting on it, right? If your plan is to develop wealth, right, as a means of freeing yourself from this system, every penny you touch, they get more wealthy, right? So it can't work. It's unscalable. Again, it counts on white supremacy always being there.
Yep.
It counts on white supremacy always being there. Literally, almost no one you hear has a plan that doesn't count on white supremacy being there. Almost everyone. And the reason, when you stop and listen, right, and you stop and look at the society, you know, it's very difficult for people to come to very clear definitions. Why? Because we've got so many of these buzzwords that don't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
I've said it over the last few days. If you
Yeah.
give me a granola bar, and then you also give me justice, equality, rights, equity, inclusion, and diversity, what do I have after that long list? I got granola bar. That's it. I didn't get nothing. If you added and tacked on justice and equality and inclusion and rights and equity and all these different things, the only thing that I have at the end of that conversation is a granola bar. Those things don't mean anything. They are not tangible. And the problem is that we've fallen for these word games, right? We've fallen for these word games. And in fact, it makes us look rather sophomoric.
Yes.
So you listen to your leaders talking about a black agenda. We're not going to vote for anyone. We're not going to give our vote away until there's a black agenda. But if you ask 100 of them, what is the black agenda? You'll get 300 different answers. That means there is no comprehensive black agenda because there is no comprehensive definition of the problem. The problem is that we are 100% dependent upon another human being for the essential needs for us to survive for 72 hours. That is the problem. You can educate yourself until you got 100 PhDs. If you're still dependent on a man for water, your education means nothing.
I mean, just look at nature. Look at nature itself.
Yo, Jeff Bezos is going to spend every single penny that he has to produce what? Food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, and sanitation. Why does Jeff Bezos not leave this country? If Jeff Bezos can be free, right? This is the most wealthy man on the planet Earth. Why doesn't Jeff Bezos exit this country? Because he has a vested interest in its solvency. He gets richer, right? He has a share in this economy. He's actually benefiting. So that's why he's not leaving, right? How come Oprah isn't? Why isn't Oprah leaving? She's got the money. She doesn't have a share like Jeff Bezos does. She's operating and made life comfortable under white supremacy, and she does not want to be free of white supremacy. She likes what it provides to her. That's why she hasn't left. That's why Tyler Perry hasn't left. That's why Michael Jordan hasn't left. This is why your celebrities haven't left, because they are now comfortable on the plantation and don't want to be free of it. But does that work for us? Does that work for us? Our babies, 500 years. I don't care who gets into office.
Who's speaking?
I don't care who. That was Mama Shakisha. She unmuted for a sec.
Oh, okay.
I don't care who gets into office. I don't care what the circumstance that occurs in the United States. Everybody done turned into Abe Lincoln, right? Everybody's Abe Lincoln all of a sudden, right? Okay, with all of this Abe Lincoln energy, does it in any way impact the fact that 500 years from now, our children will be dependent on their children for water? Does that impact it? If Trump gets in or Biden gets in, does that change that? What plan or what can a human do in order to no longer have to go to another man's table and beg bread? What is the one answer?
We're supposed to be asking the questions, Peter, and you're supposed to be answering.
I know. I just wanted to open up. You know what I'm saying? I was waiting for people to come in and all like that. And I'm going to shut up. I want to hear y'all ask some questions. But
we got a ton of people in here now, Peter.
Yes,
we
sir.
got to let folks speak.
All right, but give me an answer. That's all I'm asking. If you didn't want to beg at another man's table in perpetuity, what is the one solution?
What we're doing right now.
Get your own.
Let's build
your own table.
That's it.
Only way.
That's it. So
All
my
right,
my question is to everybody at this point. If you have any questions, please ask them now.
Well, let's be orderly.
Yes,
let's be orderly.
Definitely.
And ask those questions and let's get them answered. All right. So feel free. Anyone. Warren G. I love that name. I love that name, man.
Yes, brother Aaron Hall.
Brother Aaron.
How you doing, brother Aaron Hall?
How are you? How are you, my friend?
It's good to see you, man.
Hey, man, nice to see you as well. Very nice to see you. So I'll say it. I'll try and be quick and concise. As one who does a lot of talking, probably too much talking, it's always good to listen to brothers like you, Brother Peter, brothers like my brother Kava Kamene, and brothers who I love to sit under your tutelage and listen to what you have to say. That being said, I live in Chatham County, North Carolina, and I'm trying to hold on. All right. Give thanks. I'm trying to hold on to 12 acres of 1,500 acres that my great-great-grandfather bought back in 1908 to do the exact same thing that you're talking about. He found land that every 500 feet he walked, fresh spring water came up out of the ground. We farmed it, all family lived there, and within a generation and a half, everyone has moved, the land's gone into foreclosure, and none of my cousins want to hold on to it. And so I'm here trying to hold on to that, as well as do what he did, invest, buy land there, be part of a community, so that, as you just said, 1,000 years or 100 years, someone can look back and say, my great-great-grandpa Aaron did for us, although we were unseen and unknown, that we might be able to find our true self because we don't have to ask anyone for water, food, shelter, clothes. We get to know who we are. You know.
Can I interject into that, my brother?
Of course.
Okay. Now, we know we're dealing here in America, so we just heard you say some parts of it have gone into foreclosure.
I've gotten it out of foreclosure. Pardon me, that's my dog. I've gotten it out of foreclosure and holding on to it.
Okay,
I'm not letting it go.
That is the basic dilemma that we have here, is the fact that if you stop paying taxes, you will lose your land. So the reality of what we're trying to do, especially in North Carolina, because we started off thinking about hemp, but we have a company here in North Carolina that put over $20 million into hemp production. They can't lay a seed because there's no way for them to keep all of the hemp at 0.03%.
But we want the brother to get to his question, Ngozi.
Okay, his question
is. He didn't let him ask it. I'm gonna mute you, Ngozi, and let him ask his question.
Well, that was my question, is specifically, not just with the coffee, but with the land. And I've already sent some money, Brother Peter, and you and I can work out what that means. But with the investment of the $3,000, will I ever lose the land? Are there taxes attached to it to where my family can't hold on to it? And what does it entail? And I know you have it all documented, but that's the next step. I want to give the money, know exactly what ownership looks like and what it means to posterity and all of that, you know?
Mm-hmm. So when we initially moved to get the land in Zambia, we had two options, and this is true pretty much all throughout Africa, right? You have two options. All of the land in Africa has been owned by kingdoms and chiefs. It's not like America, right? It's all been owned by kingdoms and chiefs. And even after the Berlin Conference and they turned them into different countries, the administrations couldn't go in and say, okay, we're gonna revamp the way this is done and we're gonna take your lands. They couldn't do that. So the land remains in the hands of the customary chiefs and people in Africa, okay? In Zambia, we had the option of having our land remain customary. Lisa, do you remember where Mama Ajua is sitting right now? Do you remember walking on that beach right there? My goodness. Okay, I'm sorry. So everybody that doesn't know, that's Joanne Schofield. Look at that image. I walked on that beach in Ghana. Her house is so beautiful. Forget about it. So back to your question. We had the option of leaving our land customary land, right? Which means you have no paperwork on it. It's simply understood that the chiefs know who you are and this is your land. So we had the option of leaving it customary land or registering that land, having it actually surveyed and placed in our names within the Minister of Agriculture. Now, there are many different schools of thought, right? There is some benefit to having it be customary land, but from the perspective of us in the diaspora going into Africa, there is, I think, a bit of confidence associated with having that land in our names, right? It's closest to what we are used to here in America, right? Is having that land in our name. So we made the choice to have that land registered in the Minister of Agriculture, okay? Now, the logic relative to our model is such that our members in Cozy's cheesing because his house is the next foundation being poured right now. And so from the perspective of Africans in the diaspora in the Ledge Group, I spent $3,000 for my land. I have never sent a single penny for taxes for anything else. It has paid for my survey, my title, and it is now building my home. So $3,000, which translates $3,000 for 10 hectares. 10 hectares equals about 24.56 acres. That translates to about $125 per acre. That land is ours forever. And with the agricultural efforts that are ongoing on that land, you ain't got to worry about no taxes if there are, because it will pay for itself. This is always been the goal.
And passing it on to future generations, to my children, all of that, no problems, nothing.
Absolutely not. It was built for that reason, so that 1,000,000 years from now, the halls will have somewhere to go. The fact is that, and my sisters in Ghana can attest to this, you may build it and be on your land and in your house by yourself for an awfully long time before people in America say, okay, I'm ready to leave. It might be that, right? When I was in Ghana, there were 5 or 6 sisters that were there that were the children of the women of the 7 sisters that had never gone in 30 years. Their mamas and family members had been there for 30 years, and these sisters had never, ever gone. And when I got there, yeah, man, you know what happened? These sisters that didn't go got there and was like, oh my God, right? One sister was from Detroit and she looked at it and was like, oh my, why did it take me 30 years? Like, are you serious?
So Brother Peter, what I will say, not want to take up any more time, is that I am ready for that next step. So whatever the paperwork is and the money exchange, I want to do that, as well as I really want to get on this distribution of the coffee. I agree with you, taking advantage of people's consumption of this caffeine. If there's money to be made, I certainly like to make money. So those are the things I want to talk about. I'm interested in receiving whatever sort of binding contracts or agreement we need to have to move forward. And I have monies ready to start investing in that. Oh, last thing, the Susu investment has become very big amongst our people. I'm sure everyone listening has a cousin, brother, someone who said, hey, do you want to join a money gifting group? So I see that happening amongst a lot of Black folks. So there is an awakening of sharing our monies and our dollars. I don't know how successful all of these money giftings are, but Black people are moving to share their monies together. And I'll leave that there.
So I'm going to speak to that. That's a really good point. That's a great point.
Excuse me, Peter.
Huh?
Excuse me, this is Lydia. I just wanted to comment on what he was saying about the land in Zambia. As far as passing it down to our, our lineage, they have to be ledge members. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I was going to speak to that in a minute.
Okay.
I was going to actually speak to that.
Are they ledge members because I am? Would they be a ledge member because I am and grandfathered into it for lack of?
No.
Okay.
No, they have to pay.
Yeah, I was going to speak to all of that so he would get a good and I want everyone to get a clear understanding that this whole process is African. It's an African program. We are not giving this land back to the colonizers at all. So, I mean, I have people in my family that are living certain lives and they're doing what they're doing and having all that fun while they're out here in America acting like Americans. But some of that stuff is going to cause them not to be able to partake of what I'm leaving. Okay.
Well,
can you explain the process?
I was going to say, whatever the breakdown is, as long as it's clear, I'll pay for them to have whatever, because that's my goal, is for lineage and offspring. Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
And,
yes.
I will, it's in the it is in the Ledge group. The breakdown and like that. Lisa produced a very nice document. So children under 18 are $250. So we produced a family plan to make it easier for those with children, with wives, with families to come in, right? So there's, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know she will. It was $250 for children under 18 and over 18, $500. To make it easier.
Is it a document
Peter,
that can be emailed out, or is there a shared Google Drive where I can access it directly and quickly to have it, as opposed to having to search for it? Not to give anyone homework, but the sooner I can have it, the sooner I can make decisions and keep things moving. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
and also, Peter, what if it's a sister or a brother, if you don't have children, but you still want it to stay in your family?
We don't have anything written up for that. It's for immediate family only.
Yeah.
Okay,
we
so
didn't consider that.
okay, so they would just actually become a Ledge member at $1,000, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if they have families, then they'll be able to take advantage of the lower costs.
Right. If they've got children, then they can get that lower. Right.
May I ask a question, please?
Thanks.
May I ask a question? Listen, I just want to know. I bought my land over about 3 years ago.
Cecil.
Yeah.
Remember that this is a public call.
This is a grand rising.
Oh, this is the grand rising.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I'll just reserve my question.
Thank you.
Now, Aaron, you brought up a great question. Let me mute you. I'm gonna mute you, Camille, for a second. The Susu. And I didn't necessarily get pulled in. I wanted to sponsor my family. I figured, those blessings, they could use that. So I sponsored 20 people to a Susu. Well, let me tell you, nobody got a dime. And the Susu fell apart. Now, I am not down on the Susu at all. However, the way that it has been modified and the way that it is being used today is a mathematical certainty that somebody is going to take some pain. You can't grow like that exponentially. It's a mathematical certainty that somebody is going to take some pain. Now, the original Susu, right, is the foundation for the economies in China. It started in Africa, but it is the foundations of the economies of Egypt. It's the foundations of the economies in India, in China, in Japan, all over the planet Earth. The original Susu was the foundation that brought them into contemporary history. Lisa has a book, how many? 350 pages that goes through the entire history of the Susu. So what has happened is, just like basically everything else, things have been bastardized over time. There have been things added and removed from original practice, which make them mathematically impossible. But if we go back to the original practice, it makes sense. So Lisa is actually, and I ain't gonna put her out there, but she's actually working on studying the original practice of the Susu. So that, because again, the way that it is built today, it's a mathematical certainty that somebody is going to take a loss eventually. Okay. Somebody wanted to ask a question, say something. Jim? Jim, I don't see you. Let me see.
Jim has a question.
Actually trying to unmute. All right, I did unmute. Good morning, everybody. Peter, it's so lovely being here. I don't know if anybody can hear me, but I just wanted to take 30 seconds just to say that I am from the Caribbean. I grew up in the Caribbean. My mother purchased both her houses from Susu. What we have here in the United States is certainly not Susu. We have built things from Susu where you have to have a set amount of people that you know in the group, and each person is going to contribute what they have to every single week or every single month, and they have to stay in it during that time. So therefore, everybody gets exactly what they contribute into the susu at the end of it all. What you have here is just a pyramid scheme.
That's right.
And that would never be wealth building in any kind of way. Okay, thanks, guys.
I love to hear from you, sister. Thank you for that. That's exactly right. The original susu, it is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a savings method. You don't get anything more than what you put in.
And
that's
they also
what the original susu was.
They build with it.
Right.
It was about building an entire community.
The
Nowadays,
Chinese have done it.
Yes.
The Indians have done it.
If I give Peter $5 and he has $5, we have $10. What can we make with that $10? It's not about what am I going to get back. Right. It's about what can we do to expand.
Right.
And that's the part of the susus here in America, because I also was in the 70s and in the 60s when they came out with the susu in New Jersey. And I remember how that horror show went down. People were almost ready to fight amongst each other on the blocks.
This is what I'm seeing now. So you know, I put in, like I said, I ain't gonna put nobody out there, but I threw $1,000 in order to sponsor my family, and my family were more sensitive to the fact that that money had been spent. And it was getting deep, you know, because they were in this susu. It wasn't moving in the time that they wanted. People wanted their payouts. It was getting deep, right? We turning at each other when we began something to do a positive thing, and now you at each other's throat. No. The spirit has been lost. You've forgotten what this was. So
on the susu, cause you didn't share that story, and I should have listened to Brother Jermaine before I put mine in. But I'm still waiting. But you're right. Some people are really pissed off. And I was going back to the message when they were actually calling to the people, and they was like, "Come on, y'all, we need to be doing this. If we don't do it, who's gonna do it for us? If we don't start making these moves for progression, who's gonna do it?" You know, all on this tip to kind of get us to come together and do something great, but didn't have the organization that they needed, and they didn't have a clear-cut plan. Because what happens is that first payout is supposed to be used to start a business. Right. And when you take that first payout and you start that business, you better be expecting some type of cash flow coming in. If you start a business and you're not expecting any cash flow, then what are you doing? Right. So that's really what it was supposed to be for.
Right. But what happens is in America, in these susus, guess what happens? Everybody contributes their money and the person gets a payout. What do? They go pay out the white man. They go pay their gas bill. They go pay their electric bill. They go pay their rent. So guess what? We didn't do anything. It's still going to the same person at the end.
And it's also messing up, you know, the unity, because we already have trust issues amongst us as Black people. So it's like, okay, now you're really messing it up now.
That's the whole purpose of it, is to build trust. It's to build camaraderie. It's not about the money. It never was about the money. No susu that I've ever researched, it was about the money. It's about building a community, building trust, and building family, building nationhood. Once you build that and establish that, everything else will fall into place, because now you have people that you can trust.
But when you're here under the capitalism, and you're here under what we were taught over these 400 years, everything that we were taught is how to get greedy, get it for ourselves, and then see how we can shine above each one of our own. They forgot about the teaching of Ubuntu because it was never taught here. It's never about look out for my people.
Slow. What were you saying, Lisa?
What's going on in the United States is not a susu. Just completely delete it from your mind.
Right.
Not a susu.
Bottom line.
Not traditional susu.
Here's what the problem is. Here's the drilled down problem. Our definition of wealth is given to us by a people who benefit from our inability to define it for ourselves. So we think money is the most valuable thing. Can I tell you what the most valuable thing is? Life. Life is the most valuable thing. So what is the most valuable currency? The most valuable currency are those things that sustain life. And they've taught us that what sustains life is money. So every child, every mother's child in America right now is thinking about ways to make money, not thinking about ways to produce those things that they would spend the money on. You see? And that is the problem. That is why the SUSU mathematically must fail, because you're going to take that same money and you're going to put it right back into the system. This is why simply buying black and circulating our dollars will not work. And the reason it won't work is because if I take one single penny and I give that to you, a fraction of that penny goes right back into this system. And then when you get that penny, they're taking a fraction from you. And then when you take that penny and go somewhere else, they're taking a fraction from them. So each and every single time it moves, you're making them stronger. There is no mathematical possibility of overcoming in that condition. So what have we done? We've built a model where we're not circulating money and benefiting this system anymore. We've built a model where we're siphoning immediately out. They never make another penny on that dollar again. It is dead to them. And that is the only way to actually win. We are born in a casino and the house never loses. The only way that you win is you get your butt up out the casino with your money. You understand what I'm saying? You walk out the casino with your money, and that's the only way that you can win in a casino. So what we do is we siphon every dollar possible out in an intelligent manner, and we build for ourselves, man. Y'all done heard me say it. I used to work in the restaurants. I was a chef for a long time. And I was actually not the executive chef in this capacity. There was an executive chef and he was a white dude, right? We're talking Boston, dirty, nasty white dude. And I was second in charge. Now, the people that work in the kitchen are all from El Salvador, from Nicaragua, they're from all over the place, right? And these people would work 90 hours a week doing dishes, doing pots, doing prep work, whatever. They worked 90 hours a week. They rarely went home. They ate at the restaurant, and they would come in with clean clothes every day. They would go home, get clean clothes, come in, and they would go to work. And so one day I'm talking with this dude, Rodrigo, and Rodrigo, me and the white dude are standing there talking to him. And he's saying, yeah, man, I'm only here for 2 years. You know, this is many years ago. He says, I'm only here for 2 years. And we're like, what do you mean? He says, yeah, every single dime that I get from my paycheck, I send back home to Nicaragua, and I'm building my house there. And now me and the chef are making big money. We know what he's making because we're paying him. And we're laughing at this dude. Me and the white dude are laughing at this dude and his plans. Guess what? That dude is now in Nicaragua, in a house that's paid for, in a palace, in a reality, and me and the white dude are still up in here looking for jobs. You hear me? So he had a plan. Our only plan was to count on white supremacy. You see, our only plan was to count on white supremacy in order for us to be able to survive into the next 72 hours, while Rodrigo had a plan, executed it, and he's out. That's the only way to make this work. Siphon, and this is what Marcus Garvey's plan was. Marcus Garvey, you know, every time I mention it, people begin to jump in and share what they know about Marcus Garvey, right? And I think that's a mistake, because it's not a matter of demonstrating how much we know about him. It's more a matter of demonstrating how much of his example is reflected in our lives. How much do we see his example in our lives? Not how much you can repeat what that man said. His goal was never to bring everybody out of America into Africa, ever. What he knew was that as long as this system stood, we needed to build a siphon so that we could take from the strong economy and build the weak economy. So it was never to take everybody out. It was to install systems so that we could use and benefit from every place that we were, wherever we were. So our plan has to be a fully inclusive one. It has to consider those that are going to stay here. And if they're going to stay here, then let's put a business in their hands so that they can thrive. And so that we lift both people at one time. Let's bring the coffee in. Let's own the sugar. These people are addicted to sugar. Let's look at the 35,000-foot view. What are the things, the commodities that are running this nation? Forget the gold. The sugar is more valuable than the gold. The salt, without salt, you die, right? And so right now, we look out at the landscape in this world. Russia cannot feed themselves. China cannot feed themselves. Japan, UK, US, all over the planet Earth, these people can't feed themselves. And they've just commoditized water. Water is going on to the New York Stock Exchange.
NASDAQ.
Water, they've commoditized. So what that means is, in short time, in very short time, all of these countries and continents on the planet Earth are going to need to find a source for everything that keeps them alive. So I was on a call yesterday and somebody asked me, what about the
You have someone
plan
with a question.
for, yep, I seen it. Let me finish. I seen the person asked me a question. What about the long or short-term plan for sustainability in Africa? And so initially when I heard it, I said, well, you know what? I'm chewing the food on my plate, bro. You know, I can't solve all of Africa's problems. But when he clarified his question, I was able to give him an answer. The long and short-term sustainability, I suggest to you this. Given some specific tools, well diggers, excavators, cranes, brick makers, jaw crushers, giving some specific tools, Africa has the capacity to be the greatest superpower on this planet in less than 1 generation. It could be done in 20 years, given the current climate of the world. All trade deals in the world are off. There are none. Brexit destroyed all their trade deals. Trump destroyed all their trade deals. China, the reason that we have access, unlimited access to shipping containers is because there ain't nothing moving. China's not moving nothing into America. Japan is moving very little into America. The trade deals all over this planet Earth have been destroyed, right? So what that means is everybody is hurting. Russia is scrambling. Saudi Arabia, you know how much Saudi is looking for? Saudi is buying everything. Tomatoes, onions, goats, everything. Every single one of these continents and countries on the planet Earth are in trouble. And the only one who could actually fill the need for the entire Earth is Africa. Yes. And it doesn't even need to be all of Africa. The breadbasket of the world is Zimbabwe. You go from Zimbabwe, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Zambia, South Africa, Burundi. You go from Congo down. And those countries with a concerted plan could easily feed the entire world. So we have the capacity to be a superpower in 1 generation with intelligence. It's just a matter of having that intelligence. It's a matter of having the 35,000-foot view on Africa, as opposed to going into individual countries and looking at the issues that are affecting them in a silo. What you have to do is you have to look at the continent in its totality. So why in the world is Nigeria the #2 producer of tomatoes, but the #1 importer of tomato paste? That says we need to put a processing facility in Nigeria. We need to look at these things from a high level and start to solve the problems for ourselves. You understand? And I'm sorry. If y'all let me talk, you know it'll happen.
Yeah,
so,
and because
go ahead, get that question
here,
in. I'll be right back. There was a question. And in Cozy, you can get it.
Yeah, I got you. That was with Gwen. Gwen, you had a question? You have to unmute yourself. I'll unmute. Oh, okay. Go ahead, sister.
Hi, okay. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm well.
You guys might have already said this, but I just wanted to know, so is this process is divorced from capitalism, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, because
definitely. Capitalism does not work here.
Okay, good. Okay. Secondly, do you guys do like group trips, like when you're doing the building of the properties? Do you guys ever do like group trips for people to just like go and see the land for people? Have you guys ever done that?
No, we
Yes,
haven't done.
That's since 2017.
Wasn't that the one we went to Kenya? Y'all went to Kenya?
Kenya, Uganda, before that, Jamaica, and the Ghana trip, which was a little different, but people could have come with us. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay, those are my questions. Thank you.
Right.
All right. Anyone else have a question?
Yes, this is David. Can you hear me?
Yes, I want to see you.
Yeah, Mr. Coleman.
Okay, how you doing, Brother Coleman?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah, so I'm right now. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was actually in Cameroon for 2 years.
Last night.
Oh, was that?
I was in Charlotte last night. I worked there.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm still kind of like settling here because my family has relocated down here. So prior to that, I was working in Cameroon for 2 years in agriculture for the Peace Corps. And that was kind of like life-changing because from the standpoint of like looking at where the food source is coming from, it was just kind of like having a peace of mind of like, okay, I know that what I'm eating on my plate, you know, like for example, like, you know, there was like chickens, goats and things like that. So just the peace of mind of knowing where your food source is coming from because you literally saw it staring right in front of you and it's not on your plate, not being buffed up by like GMOs and all that stuff. You know, so it just gave me peace of mind knowing where the food was coming from. But now being here, it's just kind of like a guessing game of like, is this food organic? Like, where is it coming from?
Yeah, it's disheartening. That's one of the main reasons I'm leaving, is because I need to know where my food is coming from, health wise.
Bruh, I'm gonna tell you something. It's even more than that. When Lisa and I leave Africa, I'm telling you, it happens in the air. You suddenly, as soon as you start ingesting food that you're not directly seeing where it comes from, you start to feel sick. This stuff goes into your body and it doesn't make you feel good. I'm telling you, it happens in the air. As soon as you leave Africa, in the air, you're like, yo, what happened? Because, and I'll tell you something, we sat in Uganda in a mud hut, right? Now, I ain't never had no disrespect for mud huts. I just knew that it was a different building style based on what the people had. It was a popular building style all over the world. In Indonesia, Native Americans, I mean, this was always the building style. So I never had disrespect for a mud hut. However, having come from a Western world, I'm used to a house, right? And so it is something different. So I got there and we went into a mud hut. And first of all, when I got inside, I realized it was a lot more spacious than I had ever imagined. There was 30 people up in there, right? Now, furthermore, all of my misconceptions immediately dropped out of my body once I got up into the mud hut, because I saw a brother sitting up in there sipping whiskey, smoking they smoke, doing their thing in the mud hut, right? And I'm like, oh, shoot, okay, my mind is blown. Let me just sit down and check it out. I recognized that it was warm when it was cold in there, and it was cool when it was hot, right? And furthermore, I noted that somebody would come in every now and again with a plate of food, and they would come in and they would let everybody else know, yeah, the food's ready. And then people would one by one go out and get their food, and then they would come back in, or they would go other places. But everybody was in this place like it was a community center, really is what it was. Now, I also noted that they had no windows, they had no doors, and they had no electricity, right? And so I'm sitting here with my Western ass, and I'm saying to myself, so, okay, I'm trying to detect the differences. And I realize, right, a brother comes up on a boda, and he has another bottle of whiskey or something. And he gets off the boda, walks into the room, takes a sip, and passes the bottle around. And so I realized the reason that they didn't have no windows or no doors is because anything that any member of that village came up on belonged to the whole village. It was Ubuntu in practice. The reason that they didn't need electricity, I walked outside the door and there were chickens and goats and fruit and their crops They didn't need to preserve food into tomorrow. They wake up tomorrow and get themselves a chicken and eat. You understand? So they didn't need the electricity. They didn't need the doors. They didn't need the windows. They didn't need the locks. The children could walk and play without danger of having their organs stolen because they were a village. I got to see Ubuntu in practice. So David, when I hear you speak about the food and being able to see your food, there's so much more. It's not just the way your digestive system changes. It's not just that. It's a whole psychology. There's a whole thing that happens there, man. And yeah, I hear you, man. I'm sitting here in Boston, Massachusetts in the cold like I was some sort of a snow bunny. And I'm like, well, I need to be back in Africa, bruh. I'm looking at Mama Ajua and I'm like, I remember being there. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm actually originally from outside Boston, Mass. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so my family recently relocated down here, North Carolina. While I was abroad, they were in the process of buying a house down here. Yeah,
so you have personal experience. This is the coldest snake you ever want to touch. I know America is rough. I know all over America is rough. I've lived in the South. You know what I'm saying? I know it's all rough. But this in Boston, you're talking about the oldest money. This is the oldest colony, the original colony. This is where Plymouth Rock is. This is where the colonists first landed. These are the oldest, most rabid, most wealthy racists you've ever seen in your life. Don't come to Boston. I'm telling you. It's the coldest snake you ever want to touch.
Yeah, it's true.
I was telling somebody the other day, you can see here in Boston a thing I call innocent racism. And the reason I call it innocent racism is because it's so normal to them that they don't even recognize that it's racism. They'll say, good morning, boy, right? It's innocent racism. They don't even know that they're offensive, right? It is a deep, deep thing. We talk about Kenny Bunkport is around the corner. You understand what I'm saying? We're talking about the places where the presidents go. That's here. This is the blue bloods, man. This ain't nowhere you want to come to. Trust me.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, so I'm definitely, this is my first time like coming into the call speaking, because I've been hearing a lot of great things about you, Peter, and then the Ledge Work Group. Because I'm already kind of like thinking of like an Africa plan, like 4 or 5 years, more than likely sooner. Because I also been to Ghana. This was like 12 years ago, but it was like for 3 weeks, and I have a couple of connects there. But I just want to be able to plan things accordingly in terms of sustainability, having my own land. Obviously not for me, but for like immediate family. Because my brothers haven't been to Africa before. I've been to 4 countries so far there. And I just know firsthand that there's just a lot of benefit, in terms of like, being there and just having a legacy to pass on, for future generations to come without the fear of, a worry of somebody usurping that.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Warren G.
I got another question. Warren G. Real quick, wanted to speak.
Yeah, peace. This is Warren G. out of Atlanta.
Peace.
Out of where?
Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah. The brother at Morehouse College.
Yes.
Yes. I appreciate all one on the Susu. I've been in the Susu for maybe 15 years, and I'm in the real Susu. These other, as brother said, those are pyramid schemes. And the whole purpose of the Susu is a non-usury funding mechanism. Mm-hmm. And the key is that you need to have income before you get into a Susu. You can't use the Susu to build a business. You must have, or you could, but you got to have some cash flow before you get into the Susu, because without that, then it will collapse even in the legitimate Susu. Mm-hmm. So over these 15 years, I didn't built about $250,000 because everybody in it is honorable. They understand how it works, and people are very focused in what it does. You have to know the people. You can't get in any Susu and you don't know the people personally. That's the bottom line to it. So that's on that. My point is, the Ledge Group is doing some great, outstanding work. I have researched it myself, and you all doing great work. And yes, I do understand it's not set up as a capitalist entity, economic enterprise, but it should have transparency and accountability of the monies. That's my main point. Africa is known to have a lot of scams. We know about Nigeria, and it is a lot of people who do scam people's monies, and not only in Africa, in America, in London, and all over the world. So to me, Ledge has an opportunity to be a visionary group in that you know, what I call you all of the pioneer repatriation people. You all are the first really, well, kind of the second wave who actually doing the building the bridge to repatriation for folks, as the brother before me was talking about, and the brother before him saying, getting ready to do some serious work to get it prepared for their children. I'm doing likewise. So my question is to Brother Peter and all those in the Ledge leadership is to look at ensuring that your transparency and accountability is at its top level. If people ask questions, I think I asked the question, like, how many members are the Ledge Group in the Ledge? I mean, you should have that number and be able to tell a person what that number is. I know all the different projects you're doing in all the different countries. My queen, she's from South Africa. I'm gonna be getting with Caleb once I come to South Africa. Her family has about 1,000 acres of land in South Africa. So she wants to do some things. So that's just my position. I support the vision that you all have. Keep going, but just it's going to be a lot of people looking to you all. And I just would say that accountability and transparency should be like really at the forefront, so people can feel very honored in supporting you and knowing that you're building, and that if a person asks for, hey, you know, where this money went to or whatever, you can answer the question with a clear paperwork, with a clear attention to detail, and that they would feel secure to keep supporting past that point. So that's just my input.
So you asked me that question. Wait a minute. You asked me that question in email, and I said to you in email, we've sent $500,000 into Africa and account for every penny, every single penny we can account for. So where you talk about transparency and accountability, it's been in place, brother.
Yeah.
So you're standing on the outside saying you need this, and I'm saying on the inside we have that. We've already had it. So further, I will say, being who we are and what we are doing, I can promise you, I'm in the crosshairs. I've had State Department contact me. If there was a way for them to tear us down, they would. So every piece of information is not public. You want to know some additional details? You get in. Outside of that, it's not for you. Every piece of information is not going to be public. Does that make sense?
Bottom line.
Not really, but okay. I mean, you can make that stance, and to me, I'm not saying all of the logistical underpinnings of what you do to be made transparent. You have to find a balance, and I understand everything that you're saying. Yes, they do not want us to build this bridge to what you're doing. So I do understand that. My father was involved with the Panthers, and so I understand he was followed, and so I know all of the underlying things that they do. They plant all of the snitches we done had in our movements and people coming in. So I understand all of that. But I do think that we have to find a balance of, yes, keeping people out of our business, but also showing people who do want to get in that the transparency and accountability is there. Not just you saying it with your words, but coming up with some type of system. You got an application, you got a lot of information, procedures, rules, and things like that, try to figure out something in reference to, like I said, the accountability and responsibility, so a person can at least see that to the highest level.
No, I have to say
know.
something. I have to say something. I have to say something.
Because you're assuming that it's not in place.
Tamika, Peter, let me say something, please.
Okay.
Please. Okay, my brother. You can deal with Microsoft. Can you rip off to me right now every single aspect of Microsoft? Can you rip off? No. I'm asking a question. Can you rip off?
Okay, hold on. Okay, if I wanted to take time and research every single aspect of Microsoft, yes, I could do that.
No, you could not.
What you could find about Microsoft is what you could find about us. Period.
I can find out more than that. But even I don't want to get into anything back and forth.
We'll do that outside of this. This is another forum.
Well,
yeah,
so this was a question. I want to address it because this was a question. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, brothers and sisters, I do not. That's one of our things. I just presented a position from where I'm from. You can take it, not take it. You're presenting your side of the statement. Okay, that's fine with me. I accept it, and so be it. That's all. That's all I am. I'm not here to create any confusion or back and forth. Your work is great. I see the work. It is outstanding. I'm just saying, from my viewpoint, whatever way we can just ensure accountability, because our people have been hurt. We just was talking about the Susus. A lot of African people been abused by Susus for millions of dollars because of lack of transparency and accountability. Mm-hmm. That's all. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you are not doing what you say you're doing. You are doing that part. I'm just saying, I don't know you. You don't know me. What is the bridge that we can, but not knowing, to be able to trust to move forward? That's all I'm saying. Words are one thing, but also whatever it is, I'm not saying I know what that is exactly. We have enough genius amongst us to figure that out, but I would just say that that's something that I know I would need, and I don't know if others, and I'll leave it there, and I'll be quiet from this point forward.
Greetings, bro.
Real quick.
Go ahead. Who wanted to speak? Tamika?
Yes, I'm sorry for the background noise, y'all. I just had to run out the house. But what I was gonna say is, just to speak on the brother's point, we are experiencing a humongous shift right now. And because we're experiencing this shift with everything going on, it might seem like things are that way, but they're not. And it's a beautiful thing as people are moving forward. We're realizing, okay, what's working and what's not. And so there's actually a group of people who are working behind the scenes, brother. So just stick with us. We doing some things over here. All right. And
there is public and there is private information, right? The public information, you can find that anytime. You can go find it anytime. The private information is exactly that. It is private. It is available to the members of the group. They can see the inner workings. They know where the money is going. A person joins, matter of fact, the person you just saw, Sister Tamika, when she joined, she watched her membership fee go to South Africa and provide water. We've got visibility. We've got transparency. We've got accountability. It is not something that we wear on our shirts, period. We never will. And further, and I want to make this clear, and it should be very clear. There are many things that are working that potentially on the outside you don't see, right? Websites, applications, orientations. There are many different things on the outside that are working that you don't see. What you must understand is that you are joining an existing, or you are potentially joining an existing system. I suggest walk in and learn it. Walk in, ask your questions, and learn it. You're not going to walk in and change it. I suggest you ask every question that you have and get to a place where you're confident and either join or not, right? But you're not, you're coming to join a group of people that have already been doing something for the last 10 years. This isn't theory. This is we have duplicatable and quantifiable successes where, again, we've got complete receipt trails, we've got complete everything. So again, I would suggest, and it's the old joke that I say to Nkosi all the time, and he finds it cute, you know, we can run down and go see one cow, or we can walk down and see them all. So I saw more questions. Wait a minute, I saw somebody in order.
I just want to say very quickly, I have to leave the meeting, but I want to say I have a 12:30 meeting with my son, but I appreciate everyone so much. Brothers, sisters, this has been, I wish I could stay on because this lifts my spirit, and even the dialogue back and forth to move forward. We must have that sometimes to keep it. So even that, I appreciate being a part of that, feeling the love of everyone, and I'm super excited. Let me say that, and I appreciate all of you. You hear?
Yes, sir. Brother, man,
Right,
it's
my
so
brother.
good to see you, man. I can't wait. We got to connect again, family.
Yeah, man, we will for sure.
Definitely.
All right, everyone have a
And
good day, all right?
Nkosi, can I ask you to get Aaron?
Yeah, North Carolina people, can we get together, please? Anyone?
Oh, definitely, my brother. You on my radar. Just hit me up in my DM.
There you go.
Yeah,
and
I will.
give me your information.
Yeah, I will.
I'm gonna get to you.
And
all right,
also, Aaron wanted to get the land in Zambia, so let's get him connected with Chalemu and move him forward in that regard as well.
Oh, I got him covered. I remember his conversation.
All right,
all right, brothers and sisters.
DM me all your information, my
I will.
brother.
I will.
And
I'm gonna run out the door as soon as I hang up. As soon as I get back, I'll send it to you. Okay.
All right, brother.
Appreciate you, my
Everyone
brother.
have a good day.
You too.
Peace.
All right. Yes.
Now,
Peter.
I see a couple of questions. Let me scroll up. I see Deidre. Balance sheets, right? We've got books in each of our operating countries as it stands now, and they're being populated. So we have those. Okay. Somebody said something about espresso. Lisa spoke to the espresso. Questions. Gem D, 15 seconds to ask a question from a single woman's perspective. You are welcome.
All right, thank you, Peter. Gemma David here again, asking lots of questions. Well, just one. All right, I am a single woman. I have no children. I have no siblings, but I am very much interested in the building aspect of it. You know, the houses, because when we spoke privately, you told me about that. So what I wanted to know, and I think this is something that I kind of got from something that was said earlier on in this meeting, if you have no children or you have no immediate family, then things are not really passed down to anybody else. So my question would be, if I invested in the building aspect of it, and I die, because we all gonna die, sadly, does my whatever I have there go directly back into the group to be shared with everybody else? How does that work? Right of survivorship, sort of.
And I would always look at Tamika with the Tesla. I would always first push back to you and say, you know, define what you want to have happen. Just the same way that we would do a living will here in America. Okay. In order for it to do what you wanted to do, I would say define that. Because absent that definition, then what happens is you have to make a decision on that, right? What are we going to do with it? Does it go back into the collective? Do we farm it? Like, you see what I'm saying? And I don't think that I don't want to make that decision. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to make that decision. So I feel like it should be your decision. Now, that being said, it is important to understand the parameters, because there is no time that any freckleback will come in and be able to do anything. It can't be left to, you know, it can't be left to ambiguity. It'll be
your crazy uncle, or your crazy
uncle.
Right. Okay, I understand. Thank you, Peter.
Absolutely. Let's see.
That I cut out on that question, just Barbara L. I heard part of the question. I was trying to catch the answer, and my connection dropped. And it just came back on. Soon as you close the question out, if you have 2 seconds just to reiterate what was the answer, the response to the question, or the complete question also.
From the sister?
Yes, from Sister Jim D.
Yep. The question was, she doesn't have any children. She doesn't have any heirs to speak of that, if she passed away, would inherit her property. And so in that regard, what would happen to her property? And my answer was, I sure don't want to be left in the position of making a decision on what is yours. So I'm going to push back to each person and say, define that. What do you want to have happen with that property? Understanding that you can't leave it to a foundation where frecklebacks are suddenly going to be my neighbor. That's not going to work. They're going to get fed the lions. You understand? There are parameters around, you know, what you can do with that. But you have to do it. It's like a living will. You have to define those things. You understand? I don't want to, don't leave that to me. I don't want to, you know. I could easily say, all right, fine. Anyone that doesn't list an heir,
It
and
reverts
pass
back
away,
to
it goes back into the collective.
community.
I don't want to do that. I think it would be better if you plan that out, right? What should happen, you know? This is again, this is the level of responsibility that we as a people have to employ. You know, we have to, if it is true that I'm focused on 1,000 generations into the future, then I need you to pick up on some of that and determine, what do you want to have happen 1,000 generations from now? What do you want to have happen with your properties? You know, and define that. See, if we don't define that, guess what happens? Then 1,000 generations from now, nothing has been planned. But if you plan, maybe 100% of your plans aren't going to come true. But if 85% do, you're done all right. You hear me? You're done okay. Now, I know I saw other questions. Let me see.
Peter.
Yes.
Do I have to, or is there some sort of support or number or someone to get in contact with about those containers? Because I got some properties in Alabama that I would love to use those designs on, making them into living quarters for someone.
Mm-hmm.
And as the distance between the two places and how I would get it shipped there, all that's up to me. And who do I contact?
You contacted who you need to.
I'm talking about for the containers. You?
Me. We will. So again, the criteria behind collecting them has been made clear, right? You've got to take them in increments of 5. You got to take 5 containers at once.
I need 4. So 5 is good. Go ahead.
Right, and then you simply have to pay for the gas to move them to wherever it is that you want. If you ready, you got it done.
You have
to have unloadability. You have to have that in place.
A cherry picker. Okay. Let me see. So I get in contact with you via messenger. You give me a price on the 5.
There's no price, man. For a lady member, they're free.
Okay, so now I'm dealing with the person that's going to drive them from North Carolina to the location necessary. Plus, I have to have the ability to get them offloaded or wherever they're at, wherever they're going to be located.
Yep.
It sounds so good, man. My mouth is watering. Let me see. So I'll get in contact with you via messenger, and we'll work on that shortly.
You know, the easiest thing, I'm gonna tell you, if it were me and I had land in Alabama, here's what you should do. Collect your money, find out how much it's gonna cost to deliver 5 containers.
Right, that's
from your nearest port, right? Find how much it's gonna cost, get your equipment to be able to unload it, and hit me up and say, Pete, I want 5. Done.
So, but the nearest port for me is Mobile.
Mobile, Alabama. And so, and Cozy, can you reach out to brother? And
I got him covered, Peter.
All right. And find out. I think maybe the best way is to find out from him the active ports.
I got it covered.
There we go. You got it right.
I think it's Gulfport, and I think it's Gulfport. Yeah, Gulfport.
Louisiana.
Gulfport, Mississippi.
Mississippi. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All you do is email me. I'll put my email out here. Lisa, you can write my email down. And if you're dealing with the containers,
yeah,
I'll make the call once we know your ports, and we'll get you all set up.
I thank you then. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So that way nobody has to go towards Peter. They can just come to me and I'll talk to my brother. I'll get you squared away.
There we go.
I'll be reaching out to your brother in Cozy.
All right, my brother.
Yes.
There we go. Now, I know that I saw somebody's hand up, and I know I'll never remember who it was. So, would you please just go ahead, ask your question?
Yeah, it's Nanya Ibrahim. How you doing?
All right, family.
I've been following, me and one of my brothers have been following you guys, I'll say since 2014 or 15. And I met, if I'm correct, I may or may not be correct, but it might have been Brother Nkosi at a Carrot Bars International Convention.
Okay.
Yeah, I met you through,
in Atlanta.
Yeah, I met you through Hashim Kelly.
Yeah, Hashim. Yeah. I remember being there. Yeah.
Right. So,
how are you, my brother?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Most excellent.
Yeah. So, I do plan on becoming a member. It should have been earlier than later, but within the next few months, I'll be becoming a member. I've told a few of my family members, those of us that are trying to, make something happen amongst our family. And my great-grandmother left some land. We're in New Jersey, but our family has land in Georgia, in Quitman County. It's either Quitman County or Quitman, Georgia. But we have land down there. It's an acre or two. It's not, I don't think it's a very big plot, but it's enough land to grow and cultivate. But I've never been there. My mother's been there once or twice because she pays the taxes on the land. So what I want to find out is what's the process? Because outside of that, I do want to travel to Africa, and I want to move there eventually, and I want to make some things happen over there as well. But for right now, I want to get something moving for my family members. You know what I mean? So I wanted to find out what's the process on learning how to cultivate land that you already own.
I can say, as far as the land cultivation and things like that, being that you're in the South, like I am, I'm here in North Carolina, as you know. Peter would be the better one to talk about land cultivation, but at the same time, would look into the shipping container situation or the coffee or something like that to do on the land, because here, my brain is stuck in Africa at this point, because there's more that you can do there. So Peter, I go over to you for land cultivation and things like that.
Yeah, well, so what you're saying is 100% correct, right? And we have been looking, since we began, and people say to me all the time, well, how come you ain't doing that in America? You can't find an acre of land for $20 in America, right? You can't find an acre of land for $125 in America. You can't open up a business without enriching them, right? Before you ever even think about turning a dollar, you done gave them thousands of dollars just to get your business off the ground, right? We don't face those problems in Africa, right? So it's been very difficult to be able to get anything started here in America based on just the numbers and the way that this works. However, having come into the shipping containers, now we have a picture that emerges, right? Because now we can fabricate those to be businesses. So depending on where that land is, maybe we throw a coffee shop there and we import African coffees and create a market. Or what I'm thinking is various creative methods in order to enrich us and fuel us as a people. Now, your question was as it relates to farming, man, you know, I'll tell you, a writer writes, a farmer grows. The only way that you're ever gonna learn agriculture is to get your hands in the dirt, to make the mistakes. You put a tomato seed in, perfect scenario, perfect ground, perfect attention, and it works perfectly one crop, and the next crop in the same conditions, in the same place, with the same circumstances, it doesn't. It's not a perfect science. And the only way that you learn agriculture, the only way that you learn to farm, put your hands in the dirt.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have things, man, look, you're gonna have critters eating what you done grew. You're gonna get mad at them, the shotguns out there, yeah. Look, all these things are gonna happen. And it's a part of the development, you know what I'm saying? You get to the place where you can do this correctly because you've experienced the pitfalls, you know? It's exactly what we seen in Kenya. We went up in there, man, and thought, oh man, look, I'm gonna just raise some tomatoes. We're gonna sell them tomatoes. We're gonna get rich. Yeah. And then the drought hit. No, you ain't. You know what I'm saying? 7 months of drought hit. No, you're not gonna get rich, right? And then, okay, so we dug the wells. We said, all right, we're good. We're gonna get rich. And then the floods came. No, you ain't gonna get rich. So the best laid plans of mice and men go horribly awry. I can say that I have never failed at anything. And the reason that I've never failed is because I've never quit. And that's the key. I don't quit.
Sure.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to working with you guys, and it's a situation where you're just gonna have to figure it out. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
And if we can help, like I said, there's shipping containers. If you can figure out kind of, you know, what your demographics are in that area, if you think in your mind that maybe this is a place where a coffee shop would go, or whatever it is, right? Yo, whatever we can do, let us know. I'm going to say something else too. I had a call yesterday with a group of people. It was amazing to me. All of them were from the UK. So they're all talking to me like this. You know, it's all black people and they're talking to me that. And I'm like, this is just so cool. Like 9 people, right? And we just, okay, we're on the phone. And they were interested in a very specific thing. And what I had said to them, and this might speak to Warren G's question a little bit. What I said to them was, okay, there's like 9, 10 of you, and you want to all join the Ledge Group. Here's what I suggest. Come up with a business model. Come up with something that you want to do somewhere on the continent, right? Define something that you want to do. And then give us that, let us look at that business model, right? Let us kind of poke holes into it and push it back to you, right? You, once we push that back to you, if you decide that this is what you want to do, then hold your Ledge membership and you invest in that business. We're going to connect you with an executive director in that country so that you've got resource, so that if anything goes awry, you're able to, you have legal recourse in that country. But we're going to connect you. We're going to put your name on that business. You're going to run it. You're going to own it. And your membership fee, you send straight to that country and open up your business. So in that case, what we don't want to do is have hops to the money. Every time money hops in America, they get paid, they get rich, they get more wealthy. So we want to eliminate hops. So if you come to the Ledge Group with a plan and 5 people, right? And so that's $5,000. If you come with a plan and 5 people, push that plan in, let us look at it, let us see whether or not we can match you up with the resource in order to be able to make that plan happen. Bruh, you ain't got to send your money to us. Send us verification that you have paid to open up that business, that you have invested in that business, and that's your membership certificate. It's about growing business. It's not about, right? The reason that this works, the reason that we have made as much progress as we have is because we have the ability to invest in a proof of concept and not have our entire lives tied to its success or failure. If somebody opens up a coffee shop here in America, they drain themselves. They put everything they possibly can into that coffee shop personally in order for it to succeed. And if it doesn't succeed, then they just lost everything. What the Ledge Group does is we start up proof of concepts all over the continent. And guess what? If this man succeeds at what he said he can do, then we're going to grow it. We're going to increase it over time. But if he fails, guess what? We're going to invest in him again. We didn't lose anything. This isn't our life savings that we lost, right? We're going to invest in him again. And we're going to say, try again. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. And again, this isn't really public information, but one of our members. So another thing that I don't think people recognize is that neither Lisa and Cozy or myself has ever made 1 penny. We don't get paid from this, right? We have never made 1 single penny. Another reason why the Ledge books are completely open, because there's nothing on them, right? We don't make money. We've never gotten paid. What has happened is, and the way that this works is, we start up proof of concepts that are $5,000 or below. Right? We start small projects. Everything that you've seen us done started with a small project, $5,000 or below. And the reason that it's $5,000 or below is because I back it 100% from my pocket. So if it goes wrong, even though we've put checks and balances in place, even though we've got our names on the businesses and we've got legal recourse if something goes wrong, I back every single project personally from my pocket. That is very different from anything that you've seen before. So the proof of that, and again, this isn't public information necessarily, but one of our projects went completely awry. It was the only complete failure that we've had. I'm not even going to identify the country or the project, but I will say it was a $6,000 investment from one of our members, and it went completely awry. It was the wrong product, and we ended up taking a 100% loss on that. I have paid that member back from my pocket, right? This is why we still move, because we're not taking salaries, and again, everything is backed 100%. Right? It makes a difference. Again, we spoke about this early on the call. If you're sending your money into any movement and that movement is then paying their gas bill when you could have just paid your gas bill, we're not going anywhere. We're spinning our wheels. So each of these movements, each of these leaders are being enriched by the movement. That's not how it works. You're not going to go anywhere. If I'm paying my rent from what you're sending in and you're not paying your rent, we're not going anywhere. We're still giving it to the same people, right? So the logic is not for me to make money. It's not for the Ledge Group to make money. It's for us to begin these proof of concepts that we can count on. The tow trucks, right? And the recovery vehicles in an area where there's 1 million people and there have never been tow trucks. This is smart, right? The tomato processing in Nigeria, where again, they're the #2 producer and the #1 consumer of tomato paste. This is smart. The cassava processing in Sierra Leone, again, automating processes, making things easier, producing economies. This is what the goal is. Every time we step up to the plate, we are not going to hit a home run. I can promise you that. But guess what? You're not supposed to. Just make contact with the ball. Just make contact with the ball. You ain't got to hit a home run. Make contact with the ball and stick and stay. Don't quit. That's all, right? That's the Ledge Group.
Okay, so I'll be working with you you guys very soon.
Mm-hmm. Very good, brother. It's an honor.
And thank you for holding this forum.
Yeah, fam. Absolutely.
All right, my brother.
We got Jay Riches in the house. Yo,
yeah.
Represent, fam. Represent.
My brother, how is it?
Man, you already know. I wish I was back in Jinja. Look, I got to wash Lisa's feet at the head of the Nile River in Jinja. You know I miss it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Beautiful Ginger, man. I wanna congratulate you, man, and I'm honored to just be in your company. And I watch you every day for motivation, and there's so many things that you've spoken on that are in alignment with the way I'm operating over here. That to me, it's just a beautiful thing, brother. Like what you're doing, like I know most people don't get the gravity of what you're doing. So I'm just really thankful to be a part of the whole vision and spirit of it all.
Bruh. And here's the thing that I find amazing, so John Henrik Clark absolutely adored and looked up to Malcolm X. And Malcolm X absolutely adored and looked up to John Henrik Clark. You my hero over there, brother. You getting me? You understand what I'm saying? I'm watching you and I'm like, this brother gets it. And not only gets it, is executing it. That's where we need to be right there. If for y'all don't know, check out Jay Riches in Uganda. Check out the work that brother does. He typifies what the Ledge Group is all about. Self-sufficiency, do it for yourself.
Absolutely.
John Henrik Clark said, if we don't manufacture underwear, then we shouldn't be wearing them.
Absolutely. And
I have a pair of extra large for you, Peter, when you put a little back on your bone.
Oh, Lord. Now I got a visual I can't get out my mind. You understand? How I'm gonna want Jello after seeing what I seen. You understand?
Brother, I have a question, Brother Peter. I have a question.
All right.
So in regards to the coffee operation, I need to do more research personally on it, coming out of Uganda with what you're doing. But are you guys offering bulk distribution or wholesale?
Bro, man, wait a minute. Is Magomo on the call? Because you can drive over to Sharonko right now, bro, and get whatever you need, man. Tell him I sent you. You go get it. Yeah, bro. Come on.
Now, the reason I'm asking is because the brother with the land in Georgia, so for my operation, so for those that don't know, I deal in specialty products like organic honey straight from Uganda, moringa powder, soursop leaf powder, shea butter, and I'm working on vanilla at the moment. And I have the export company that I've set up here and built around the Ugandans that I've met from the villages and from Central, and we export to the U.S. And I also have a project like this in Zimbabwe and a few other things going in Zimbabwe. But basically, what we've done is I have my import company in the States, so I control the entire supply chain from all the way from the villages to the retail and bulk distribution in the U.S. because I own the export company and I own the import company. And so I've also set up the farming co-ops for the honey out in the north central of Uganda. But anyway, my point is it's based out of Chicago, but I've also set up a pack house and hub in Goldsboro, North Carolina. So what I'm doing is I'm setting up distribution hubs in the major areas of the country to help facilitate, the logistics on that side. And so I was just curious if the brother was interested in, you could throw up a $10,000, $15,000, steel structure on your property, and you can get a processing and distribution hub going, relatively cheaply.
Yes, we could. Yes, we could.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing, Sister Tamika, I love
All right,
you.
Tamika.
All right, we'll see you again soon.
Much love.
So, Jay, 100%, I hear you. Let us, Magomu, right?
Yeah.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop Phil into the conversation, Philip Jones. And because, and I don't want to be talking out of class, but Philip is already about to grab 5 containers. He's about to drop that in North Carolina. So, we're all about that. That's again, it was always very hard to figure out a way how how to build the businesses in America. And again,
Absolutely.
you've done this. You've got the import and the export. Why wouldn't we use that, man? So from this point forward, from my perspective, I don't want to see another ton of our coffee leave the continent if it ain't going through you.
Wow.
Yeah, I want it to go through you. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we?
Wow. It's funny, brother. First of all, I don't even know how to respond to that. But secondly, Phil, we were talking about, because he works with Magomo, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because we were talking about doing a share on the on the shipping, getting our product out of here back a couple months ago, and so that's perfect. Absolutely, absolutely, and brother, we got a lot of building to do because I really want to share with you what I've been able to get in place here, and just get more tied in. And me and my wife were just now talking about before I turned the mic on. When we're going to start our membership, because this is her first introduction to you formally outside of me just showing some of the posts to her, but she's just like automatically like, you know, like she's locked in. So we're ready. We're ready.
So I'll give you a little, hey, Warren, brother, thank you. Your suggestions, your sentiment is very appreciated, brother. Thank you. Jay, I want to tell you something. The fact is that all we need from you, so the way that we cultivate an executive director is they are a citizen of a given country and they have in their mind a project, a product, or something that the Ledge Group can invest in and take a share of the profits. So for you to join the Ledge Group would not, in fact, again, depending on the model, would not, in fact, cost you anything. What we'd like to do is we'd like to piggyback on you. You understand? What is it that you're doing? How can we invest in you and share in those profits? And that's how we work. We self-finance.
Absolutely. That's exactly how I work already. Everything is completely self-financed for me and my wife, and we want to keep it that way within the spirit of our people. So absolutely.
Yeah. Oh man, and Stephen, our chief security officer, just said we can set up distribution for tactical gear and ammo as well, should you choose.
Wow.
Oh, we working on.
Wow.
Do I go too far? I'm not gonna say. I won't say too much, but I will say some of the things that we're doing. Again, the goal is food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, and security, and not one of those areas can be diminished. They each have to have focus placed on them, each and every one of them. It is not like security is a small thing, right?
Absolutely.
It's not like healthcare is hey, you could be out working and get hit by a nail on your foot and that can kill you. You know what I'm saying? Look, so all of these areas have to have our attention and focus. Yeah, beautiful, man. Beautiful. It's good to have you up in here, man. That's a real hero. Y'all heard.
Thank you, brother.
Y'all heard what that man is doing out there, man. That's a hero. Yeah.
And what I've one last thing I'll chime in and say, you know, we've been able to set up a processing store. We have our pack house in addition to the co-ops and the supply chain here. We have a retail outlet where we're branding our own products as well. And you know, it's the amount of money that you can get this entire project going for is astronomically low compared to the States, and the red tape is almost non-existent as long as you're coming in and you're about the people, you know. So everything we do, like for example, like I'm watching so closely with what the Ledge Group is doing because, you know, the whole reason I even started this entire operation in Uganda was because of 2 security guards that were making about $27 a month. And they were so nice to me and so genuine that I started looking at ways I could help them. So after some discussion, it came to be that agriculture was the big business here in terms of resources and availability. And so I was like, you know, what can I do to help these brothers? And so I was thinking about just putting together a small operation here in Uganda domestically to make money. But when I did the research on the potential for the US market, and I'm already familiar with imports and exports, it just became a natural gravitation towards, okay, let's set up an export operation. And so I spent the last year educating myself on trade agreements, how to export, logistics, the whole nine. And I've made these guys the directors of the companies. So it's really their company.
Yes.
And I've also set up a domestic income stream by setting up a retail shop here as well. And, I'll share in private with Brother Peter and the rest of the Ledge members, what the costs are to do something like this. But when you find out what the cost is, it's cheaper to do this than to buy a car in the United States.
That's right.
And
Exactly.
right now I have about 7,000 metric tons. 7 metric tons of product ready to go between organic honey, wax, and shea butter. So I have over $250,000 in retail inventory ready to be shipped in the next 30 days. And the price that it, and I do profit sharing with the villages that I source my products from. So it's an amazing thing that has just come together truly out of the spirit of wanting to help some people who are doing poorly. And now these guys have their own places. They're taking care of their family. They're building houses in the villages.
Yes.
And they're making great salaries. They're healthy now. So
let me tell you something. In order to get a blessing, you need to be a blessing. I guarantee you the $27 that they was making as a security guard is a foregone conclusion. They're making real money now. And so this is exactly, I'm hoping people are hearing what that man is saying. This is 100% of what the Ledge Group does. And it is 100% the reason why we can do things on the continent that nobody else can. We can, because we put a bottling and filtration system in the free state of Kwakwa, can't nobody do what we can there. Because of the work that we've done, we can go anywhere. We have a reputation that precedes us, and we can get access to things that nobody else can. He's a living example of exactly what we're talking about on a group scale. So yeah, bro, look, I can't wait for us to click up, man. I can't wait.
Thank you all.
Yeah. Hey, so Ngozi, you're gonna have to give me a minute. You can speak and field any questions that happen. Lisa, I can see just the little top of your head and the smile in your eyes. So
you know this old man's getting in his position at this time.
Oh Lord. Hold him up, Lisa.
You know how this works, Lisa.
Quick question.
Go ahead, my brother. My brother Armand, what's going on?
Peace, brother.
Glad to see you, brother.
Good to see you as well. My question is, how can I familiarize myself with some of the issues that's going on in Africa? I've never been in Africa, and as I got older, I realized how important it is to provide food, clothing, shelter, power, security, and etc. for ourselves and for our people. And coming from a background of not really having that knowledge growing up, how can I find a way to contribute my skills and build?
As far as your skills go, I mean, I don't want to cut you off. I want to get your whole question. So as far as your skills go, Lisa has an actual document that you can fill out and put your skills down there. Yeah. And as we, find a position for your skills, we can patch you in with someone on the continent that could actually use your skills. But to get you there, you have to be able to fund that.
Yeah, of course.
Lisa, we still have that sheet, right? That skill sheet.
Yes, it's old and being updated, and I will add Armand to it. Just message me, Armand, and I'll add your skills to the list.
All right, perfect. Sounds good.
Yeah, and then if you want to get acclimated more to Africa as a whole, pick. I hate to use the colonized way of saying it, but pick the country that you want to know about, and we get you plugged in to where you can learn about the cultures there. You can learn about everything that you need to know directly from the executive director or someone there that could actually let you know the best avenues. Because see, the Ledge Group is created so that everybody can actually start their own businesses within the continent.
Yeah. Right.
And you can cultivate your business through someone that is indigenous to it, one of the continentals. So we can plug you in, and then you can start to cultivate. And from cultivating your business, you can actually see how the politics of starting the business actually works step by step by step by step.
Right.
Because I'm actually going through something right now that's going to help every one of you from this point on. Okay? Because when I complete what I'm doing now, every one of you will be so close to being citizens there. It's gonna rock your boat.
You know, there was a time I didn't understand. I used to hear people in Ghana always saying they wanted citizenship. They wanted citizenship. And in my mind, right, I didn't understand why that was relevant. I don't care what you call me. Just don't call me late for dinner, right? But then I understand. I come to understand why citizenship is so relevant in a country.
Yes.
Because if you don't have citizenship, then you have to reapply for your visa every 3 months. That is a cost, it's an expenditure, and their general citizenship rules in most countries are that you need to be there for 5 to 7 years without any legal trouble before you can become a citizen. So that means every 3 months,
5 years,
reapplying for a visa to stay there. That is why citizenship is so very important in each of these countries. This is why what the Ledge Group has done and what we do is we start up businesses. Again, this is the model. You cultivate, you tell me, you tell the leadership what you want to do, what business you want to be involved in, what you want to do. We will match you with a countryman, whether that's Cameroon, Nigeria, Senegal, doesn't matter. We will match you with a reputable contact on the continent. We'll set up that business. If your model is good, we can invest in that business for a share, and you become listed as an investor in that country. So before you even step foot there, you're building a reputation as an investor, and you can own land either in that business's name, and your path to citizenship is made more clear. You see? There's a definite method to the madness, getting your names listed in the countries. And the only way that we get your names listed in these countries is if you come and say, look, this is a business that I want to be involved in. This is something that I want to do. Let's do it. We've got a machine that allows us to invest in each other without any problem. So why not? Right? Again, the only real prerequisite relative to the Ledge way is that 50% of any profits stick to the continent. Okay, 50% stick to the continent. After that, you do what you want. It's yours, right? 3% comes to the Ledge Group. After that, it's yours. You do what you want. You pass it down to your family, and we grow. You see? Lisa had something to say. What'd you say?
I said the executive directors are busy. Now, this is, of course, only for certified members. If the executive directors, if you have questions for them, you know they're busy, so they may not be get back to you for days. So don't be impatient, because if you had any idea how busy they were, we know because we've been there.
And beyond that, you have to understand. So I work on a 24-hour schedule, right? Because Kenya comes online at one time, Uganda comes online at one time, Zambia comes online at one time, Nigeria comes online. All of these countries come online at staggered times. So I'm communicating with these executive directors in these various countries every hour of the day. And I can promise you while each of you are like, oh, this guy Peter is so pleasant, he's so nice. That's not the perspective of my executive directors or my executive board. They don't think I'm so nice. I first give them the people's eyebrow, and then it's the people's elbow. You understand what I'm saying? And so it's pretty regular that my executive directors are told, bruh, you do know I could be there in 24 hours, right? You do know that. I'll be at your door, bruh. So I say all that to say, be aware that the executive directors are under great strain.
Schedules, yes.
I got them flat out, man. I got them flat out. The Ledge Group is not a charity, okay? We're not a charity. You're gonna work. Each and every one of our executive directors is going to work for what they have. If they tell me that they can do X, then that is what I am expecting of them. You understand? So not 99%, 100% of what you do is what I'm looking for you to do. Okay. I wanted to share something else. One other thing real quick, Gwen. I gotta go. Yes, it is wonderful to have you, sister.
Yes, sister, you have a good one, Gwen.
Our Ledge members within the states collaborate with each on a business to propose to the executive directors. Wait a second. Our Ledge members within the states collaborate with each. So the logic here, able to collaborate. Yes, here's the logic. The model of movement with Marcus Garvey maintained a tip of a spear. The model of the movement with Malcolm X maintained a tip of a spear. All of our models over time has had a tip, and all they had to do was break that tip and the entire weapon faltered, right? So what we've done is we've produced a model that is far more like a hammer, right? It's a wide surface. So that way, even if a Skylab should come down from the sky and land on me, you, James, are the executive director of Ledge Clay, and that's your business. You're going to manage that relationship. You're going to impose the structure. You're going to demand the P&L and the accountability. You're going to manage that. And so what this does is it makes each and every single member an owner with responsibilities and with a stake in the success of their own business. You see what I'm saying? So yes, you have to collaborate. You have to build it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put a standard model in place that presents checks and balances, that presents recourse if something goes wrong, and you're able to use the reputation that we have produced in order to bystep anything else. We ain't gonna, if you go to Ghana, any one of you right now, and Jay can attest to this, any one of you right now, go to any country in Africa, and I promise you, anything that you buy, you're gonna pay 3 times the amount that a citizen there pays, simply because they see you're American. Hey man, you're a paycheck. We're gonna keep it 100.
That's that Mzungu price.
Yo, it's the Mzungu price right there that you're gonna get, right? Anywhere that you go. What we have done is we've produced a reputation before we ever get there. So the only people that you're gonna interact with, damn sure ain't gonna charge you no more. You done already fed their families. You hear me? We have already given them water. Do you hear me? We become a part of the community. We are not an outsider. We're not a Mzongo, right? We're not an outsider. We're already a part of the family. So we sidestep and bypass all of the challenges that are associated with one of us going over there. This is the real key to the Ledge Group. The real key here is that we cannot leave America like refugees. The majority of people, the majority of repatriates that you see have worked their entire lives here in America, and they've gotten their retirement or their Social Security, and they move over to Africa, and they're living, and they're chilling, and they're doing their thing, okay? And I don't, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. What I suggest is that we can't leave America as refugees. We can't trade one master for another master. We have to leave and go everywhere on this planet holding our head high and reflective of our ancestors that were triumphant over the most abhorrent circumstances in human history. We came through a thing that has never been duplicated on the planet Earth. You have never seen circumstances at any place, at any time, to any people, to the extent that we have come through. And in 400 years, we dominate these people in every single area. So it does not make sense to me that we go anywhere on the planet reflective of anything else than a triumphant people. So I'm not going to walk into Africa with my hat in my hand. We are not going to walk into Africa as refugees. We have something to give. We are of value. And so when we go there, our reputation will precede us. They know who we are because we've already done the works necessary to establish who we are. See, the whole world has been introduced to us by way of our enemy. See, in China, the only way that they know you is the stimulus or the information or the media that our enemy has given them. In Japan, the only way that they know you. In the Philippines, all over the planet Earth, they're using the information that our enemy has given them to define us. Guess what? It is not enough for us to sit back and say, oh, they don't like us. They don't. No, they don't know you. I suggest you get up, go stand in that man's face to face and introduce yourself. And that's what we do. I ain't mean to get all excited.
Yes, you did.
I ain't mean to get all.
Yeah, you did.
Awake. Oh man.
I know you. I know you. But at the same time, we're in the greatest position that we could ever be in, and I thank you, Mr. Chump, for doing so. Because when you shut out the rest of the world, you let us in, and by letting us in, you just released the children of the ones that you did so wrong onto the scene. When you did that, you unleashed us to the world. And I thank you for that.
Marcus said, look for me in the whirlwind. Do you
That's
hear
right.
me?
That's
look
right.
for me
Say it
in
again.
the whirlwind. And here we are. Here we are in 2020. And somebody asked the question. Wait a second. I saw somebody say it. Somebody said in the chat room, where can we get jaw crushers? Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Because we will get jaw crushers. If the budget comes into being and we're building all those things in order to be able to collect nickels and pennies and dimes, because pennies make dollars, and we'll get to the place over time to get those things. But if we should find funding, right? If we should have somebody that joins our group that says, look, I want to build the construction company. I want to build ledge construction. I want to buy and own this excavator. I want to own these things. If you do that, I'm telling you, we are a superpower in less than one generation. In less than
5
one
years
generation.
to be exact. 5 years to be exact.
This is the time. It is the time for us to strike, because none of these continents have trade deals and none of these continents can feed themselves. Time to strike. Sister Shaniqua, look at you.
There she go. There she go.
How you doing, sister?
There's my Lino.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Hey, Lino.
My brother, Nanya, you had your hand up. You had another question, fam?
Actually, I do. I wanted to find out if I could get a copy of today's recording, because I would like to share it with the rest of my family.
Absolutely, family.
I'm gonna put
definitely.
I'm gonna put my email in the chat.
Well, it's actually on Facebook Live. I didn't think Facebook Live would work this long, but it's on Facebook Live. So it's public. It's out there. We can't take it back now.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're in the Grand Risings, you'll have access to it.
It's public. It's not just in the Grand Risings. It's public. Everybody in the world will have access to it.
Okay, got you. All right, thank you.
All right.
You got something for us, Lino?
I sure do.
Go ahead, I'm listening. You know I got to get you. Go ahead. What's going on with you?
Peace and love, warriors.
Yes,
I love y'all, and I shared this video all over the place. I share your stuff, period. And y'all remind me of a lot of the elders in my family. They kind of, like, listen, you either get with the program or you're gonna get left, but I'm gonna give you a chance.
Yeah.
And it's just,
we're not gonna leave you behind. You're not left behind.
Oh no, I know, but our people do need to get with the ideology that it's not something that we have time to sit on and wait to do. Like, this is serious, and we do need to give a lot of attention and focus on owning our own, governing ourselves, and coming away from any type of form, a handout of Western assistance. Period. And that's a hard thing, and there's levels to it. So I guess I'm the bridge to baby hold, and hand walk people to where you guys are at and are providing a place for it. So it's like, I love what you said earlier, Peter Brown. You said that basically wherever using systems where we can actually impact wherever we are or wherever we choose to go, because we should have control all over the world. This is ours. So I mean, whether you choose to stay here or go abroad, you need to be able to say, this is something I can protect. It's mine, and it's ran by me, us. So I'm totally, I understand that, and some people don't, and there's factors around that are and should be considered, because like I know there were questions that came up regarding, can I give this down to my family if they're not members, and some of those may not be able to become members because of some of the considerations that you guys don't want involved in being able to attain land. So if you have a family member or a partner or something like that is not necessarily what you may want to entertain having ownership, or control in that way, then that is a consideration, and things to consider. How would you allow, or what would you not allow, and how would you make clear, without causing a problem to yourselves, that this is not being, this is not part of the ledge group. This is not what we are going to, so this person would know, well, in that case, I won't consider going any further to try to cause a disruption or a problem, because they meet that state and then cannot continue to engage or be a part, or have their extended, interests come and be a part. But okay, to come off of that, my thing is growing alliances that are beneficially prosperous at this time, because I've seen you, Brother Peter Brown, build this up from the first post that you made. And I remember that day. I literally remember that post. I've been since then around. And you said, we're going to basically create something that nobody can destroy. And, whoever's interested, come put your names down. And from then, you never stopped. It was a post you made. And from that point, you never stopped, and you kept consistent, and you was on top of it. And nobody can tell me nothing about you. I'm telling you that right now. And nobody better tell me that. I don't care what you can't do no wrong. So I'll be like, listen, I don't know if y'all, who ever had a problem. I know it's a bunch of people I done, sent towards your way. I think it was a brother you engaged with that I sent, and I seen a little confrontation. I was like, I was like, whoa. Yeah. And I was like, listen, hey, that ain't none of my business. Stay in child's place. So
I'm gonna admit something here that I ain't never admitted to anybody in public. Those people that are closest to me, that love me, they hate me. They hate me. I'm just, hey man, I'm Pete. I'm gonna keep it 100, man. I'm not gonna put on no airs. I'm not gonna do that. I mean, I can be arrogant. I can be all of those things. If somebody runs up to you on the side and says, hey, Pete's this, don't say, no, he ain't. Yeah, he probably is.
He probably is. No, listen, that's so, look, I say it for you. I tell people, listen, he a little rough and gruff, but he gonna make sure that you understand, he take care of you, and you either with the work of what has to be done or you're not. So it's not about like, it's about, does this make sense? Is this what you want? Then you shouldn't even have an argument. You can't run into a problem when you have the same intention. So if your intention is not there, you know, and or you don't understand how to communicate with under that intention, and y'all may not have the same ways to communicate, then maybe y'all got, you know, you gotta get your understanding up, you know,
Yeah,
for how
instead of
you may
talking
want
to
to place
Peter, you
yourself.
may need to talk to Nkosi. Or instead of talking to Nkosi,
Yeah, I was like,
you
go
may
talk
need
to
to talk to
I
Lisa.
was like, listen, because Peter Rattle got on top of it. I was like, Nicole's gonna be a little more easier. Lisa Frank, and peace to the queen. Peace, you know, peace and love. Thank you so much for having me opening up the door to the platform on here. And I just want y'all to know that there are a number of projects that I'm looking to work on and I'm involved with. And I do want to ask and know how to partner in a favorable way that meets the ledger's, you know, gratification in that aspect. So what I'm talking about, because I was on a call with HUD, and they was supposed to be giving out all this information to their partners, and basically my focus was how to attain land free and land and properties that we could turn into viable businesses that we can then take the money and then fund what y'all doing over there, because I've seen so much of it come out of your own pocket and from your hands and your blood, sweat, and tears. And it is not something that we can't get here and then support you over there, and we create these alliances and all of this ownership all over. Because there are people that right now I know want to be a part of the ledge, but they may not have the money and or just even the vision. I'm that mama that comes in, hey, listen, I got you. This is how you do. Start here, sign this paper. This is what this application about. Here's the information. And I baby step, because some people we have to understand wasn't given that. They don't have that. No one gave that to them. And they do need somebody to come and give them the just the push, or just open the eye to like, look, this is what you can actually have. You can have it. Some people think they cannot. It's impossible to go from America and be in Africa on land, have people that care, have a community that want to work with you. The idea of individuality is so real, and it prevents us from doing so many things on a unison level, that what y'all are actually even introducing is so foreign. Because this is why maybe you're meeting some of the questions you're getting, like, you know, what I get, you know, and okay, well then how will I, and what can I, and you guys, and which Nicosia had to explain to me too, like, this is not an I thing, it's a we thing. So you may take, like you said, the sister put $1,000 in. No, it's not going to your land, it's going to our land or our investments right now, so that you can see that back. And some people are not, that's not what they understand signing on or wanting to sign on. So that's imperative that, you know, that idea or that whole presentation is put at the forefront, because that's not something westernized people are used to. And we have been under Western order for a long time. You look out for self. It's not about you and your brother and sister. So I'm like that, period, innately, but that's my nature. I'm born that way. Like that's been my mindset. I got beatings for that type of stuff.
I bear witness to that.
Downstairs. Yeah. I want to give everybody everything that I have. It's nothing. If it's there, it's for me to share, period. Like, don't tell me how to share this. It's mine. I'm share what I want to share. Right. But I am respectful when I'm sharing with others, because now it's not just me. And you have to respect everybody's space. And that's another thing that I've seen so many times. The respect is not there. You know, everybody wants to be the leader, and you can't do that when you're working collectively. You have to listen to how others may be offended, have issues, not can't serve that way. So then you come to a common ground, understanding, so you have smooth sailing, and no one is becoming a problem because you have communicated all that could be a problem. So anyway, these are some numbers that they said to call, emails. There's a lot of information on programs that people can get involved with, and property that
send it to my email.
Of course, I recorded the whole session, and I made contacts with some of the people that were outside hosting the event. The lady, she was so nice. Everybody does this to me. She got on the phone and just started going off. And we was on and on and on. You know me, because I'm a shadow too. I'm long-winded. So she was just like, "Oh, you're beautiful, baby." She said, "Give me your number." I said, "Sure will." And she was like, "Listen, we have to help each other." And I don't even know how she felt comfortable to talk to me like that, because I could have been anybody, you know. And she was like, "Look, I'm gonna tell you this and tell you that." And then when I got on the call, I was asking how to and where to get direct contact, because when you get on the HUD site, they show you properties in different states, or like if you're looking for a commercial property, and that's my thing, to make a collective commercial, to have a collective commercial property where instead of having like a mom and pop space, you have a mall of vendors that switch and can rotate. You never have an issue. It's just a matter of the money the space being there so that the business can be continually flowed. How you gonna throw somebody out when you got over 200-300 people in vending mode? That's we're gonna be able to maintain our commercial property, but it's just a matter of thinking again, individual. These rents, H&M is shutting down. All on 125th Street right now, Harlem in Manhattan. All those stores are shutting down. They cannot keep the rent because there's no traffic. So how do you survive at a point in time like that? And then that
Thanks for that knowledge.
Yeah, and then those properties are going to be up and available, but to who and for what? So that was my thing. I want to learn. Send me the blueprints of what y'all have as a plan for the city. What you plan on doing with these properties in these areas and location, that is public notification. And I know what they're doing in back. I live in the Bronx in New York. Over here, by those of you that are familiar with Hunts Point, they're turning that into pier, like downtown Chelsea. So that is gonna be already they have docking in the boat that used to go to I think Long Island, Staten Island. They have already, yeah, the ferry. They have a ferry that comes in here. They have remodeled parks in back of me. They have high rises. I'm trying to go up over here. So I want us to get first dibs on that type of property. And there's no reason why we can't if we have the hedge funds in place, the money, the banks. There's a brother that said he's a broker for the bank he's at, and he will give anybody that wants property the loan without the interest. He said, now who you know is doing that? You won't have no interest on your loan. So he actually did the live in the group, my group Conscious Movement. I'll get his name, and he said as long as you have a plan and you can show, he said he'd be willing to help his people out. So how does that help you guys, or help us all together, right? Well,
so I wanna just
sure. No.
So here's what I suggest, based on our most current capacity. My suggestion is that unlimited access to shipping containers completely changes everything. Because now, if you have land where you're talking about that commercial mall, there's a synergy that's happening right now that unless you've been to Africa, you don't really see it. You may have seen it in Jamaica, you may have seen it in some of the Caribbean countries, but there's a synergy happening right now that America is not really ready for. And it's not really been labeled. And I'll tell you what that is. The markets in Uganda, Jay can attest, in Kenya, in Ghana, in all over Africa are makeshift markets. They pop up out of necessity. And let me tell you, you've never seen a busier place. You can go to these markets at 4 o'clock in the morning and you can buy lamb or you can get a haircut. You can do anything that you need at that market. And the reason that these came into being is because exactly what you're describing. The property in the middle of the city is too expensive. Nobody can do that. So what you see throughout Ghana, throughout Uganda, throughout Kenya, throughout Africa is these makeshift shanty type malls, for a lack of a better description, where the people are providing direct service to each other. And in doing so, they're making the maximum amount of possible profit because they put this place up, okay? So now what do I see? Where you speak about these lands, again, it's been very difficult for the Ledge Group to be able to get into America and to do anything. When you speak about these lands, what I'm thinking is exactly a merge of what we're seeing from Africa and here in America. That's right, H&M is closing up. These big conglomerates are closing up. Nobody wants to do business with the capital colonizer anymore. Everything that they produced in the blood and genocide of innocent human beings is crumbling. And the only way forward is Sankofa. It's to go back in order to go forward, right? So the markets are going to be for the people, by the people, producing the things that they need, producing the services that they need. We're going to go again back to the place where everybody in a given market area knows everybody else. And when you see, you can walk into that market and you can see somebody spend $20. And you watch that $20 go from this business to that business, to the other business, to the other business, and we move that around throughout our own community. So what I see, when you look at Charlotte, North Carolina, that has 50,000 homeless Black people, I see a horrible condition, but I also see opportunity. We have opportunity. This is a drain on Charlotte, North Carolina. They don't have a solution. And if we wait for the Europeans to come up with a solution for our people, they'll be dead.
Lost. Yeah.
Right. So what we have to do is we have to come up with intelligent models that allow us to port skills to them and to produce exactly what you're describing. Let's build out those commercial business places. Let's teach our own people how to turn those shipping containers into businesses. They're already in Atlanta. I went to a chicken place. It was the best chicken I'd ever had, coming up out of a little container, right? Out of a container. So they're already using them. So why don't we teach our own people how to fabricate those for multi-purpose uses? And let's start building out these commercials instead of, it says mama may have, papa may have, but God bless the child that has his own. If you forever go into America asking them for something, hey, if you forever go into America asking them for something, what happens is it's open-ended and they have the ability to tell you no, right?
Right.
But if you go with a solution, a rock solid solution, and I'm not really asking you for anything. I'm telling you, you have this problem, you have no solution, and we have a solution. We have the ability to give our own people skills. I know you scared of them felons. That's only because you don't understand them. I do, right? So we can port skills to those people. We can use those people. We can create our own industry. And this is what the Ledge Group is all about. Build our own economy instead of piggybacking on what they, you gotta understand. You must understand. First of all, April 7th, 1792 is when currency in North America came into being. Okay. And it was given value through breeding our families. Okay. Now, you step back, okay? America was made a superpower because of the wars and the fact that she could assemble more metal and put it on the field of battle faster than anyone else in the world. She could move metal to Germany. She could move tanks and equipment anywhere on the field of battle faster than anyone else. If you look at today, what is America's primary products? Her primary products are entertainment. It's basketball. So I say these things to say, if you look throughout this society, we're 13% of the American population. First of all, they're lying so that they don't know how many you are. Okay, we'll just put that out there. We've been 13% for like 100 years, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Biggest lie too.
You want to piss on my leg and tell me it's rain. Okay, let's assume we're 13% of the American population, right? In a global accounting, you would never even mention that small number of people. But you can look in Russia, Nicaragua, you can look all over the planet Earth. Everywhere you see, they walk like, talk like, dress like, act like, think like, express themselves like we do. So the fact is, their fashion, their vernacular, their dancers, their culture, absolutely everything comes from us anyway. So the answer is not for us to bend to get a pat on the head. The answer is for us to draw in and build it for ourselves. And then we'll sell it to you if we choose to. And there's going to be a reparations tax. You understand what I'm saying? So I say this to say, they are reeling right now. You are watching, and this is kind of the thing that boggles my mind about my people here and now. You are watching the political system crumble, the social system, the economic system. You watch the healthcare system under this pandemic crumble. You're watching the agricultural systems crumble. You're watching their livestock systems. They were killing chickens by the millions. Did you see them light that chicken factory on fire? Look, everything that they have built, you are watching crumble because it is produced based on greed and horror. So now, what is the way forward? The way forward is to go backward and snatch to go forward. So we spoke about true susus. You're damn right. That's the solution. You spoke about commercial property, and I'm speaking, in Cozy, I'm speaking about those shipping containers. Those shipping containers are the solution. So she spoke about a dude that said he would provide land with no loans. Well, guess what? The ledge will provide shipping containers with no cost.
That's right. They'll be free.
So now, what can we do? What can we do with that? Now we've got land. Now we've got land. We've got containers. What can we do? Right? And so that is 100% of the logic and the spirit behind the Ledge Group.
So Lino, like I said, put it in my email.
Yes.
Tell me.
I'm definitely gonna put it in. I put it in all your emails. By the way, if you want to have me send the conversation and all the information and contact, I'll drop one email and just email me at Shaniqua SHANIQUEWA .Lino LINO @gmail.com, and I will send whatever it is you want, and everything else that I have that you want to you straight, no problem. I just wanted to add this on. Some of the programs, I just want y'all to let me know if they would be of interest to you. Like the Doctors Without Borders, we can have, or I think it would be great if we had our Doctors Without Borders. You may not want to deal with the monies given from Western, setup, but I don't mind as long as they don't, and I will not allow them to have any control in what I'm doing. Like, we have to partner with you. We have to this or that. No.
We have some doctors on our staff already. We've got an OBGYN. We've got a holistic pharmacist.
Yes.
We've got all of those things we working on. There's a difference between Africa and America. Everything that we've done in Africa, we've produced and cultivated every single resource that we need, from security to healthcare to, right? So we don't need, the fact is, we don't need any resource in America at all. There's nothing we need from America.
We can go over there tomorrow.
I knew, Brother Brett. All right. I just, what I'm saying is not to have them as a source of help, but to have the grants that are available so that we can take Black doctors that are here and sisters that are training, that I know to do womb care, to be doulas, and they are working still under the constraints of Western control. Why not have those sisters be able to travel back and forth, or here be able to help and be paid through insurances that we own? I shouldn't have to have Medicaid. I could have an insurance policy that is read by us and is for us and it's under the guise of us. So that type of thing, I was just taking, like you said, and just polishing it and not even mimicking, because this is stuff that we've done anyway. For whatever reasons, it was then taken out of our hands, and we was wind up to be under the control of those that we started and taught that anyway too. So my thing is, how could that, or would you mind being a part if it was presented the right way, without any access to what you're doing, but just accepting the money in those programs to be like things that we can have the youth involved in, we can have the mothers and fathers be trained in, and then only by us to be collaborated in the thing that we run, so that we
never.
Oh, no.
We'll never do that. We will
So
never
no
take
money. You don't want no money at all that comes from, whether it's with no connection.
None.
No
Our
government.
money
No.
will be taxed dollars. We've already given them taxes. They ain't got no claim. They ain't got no voice. They can't say nothing. We have been taxed already, and we can take that and siphon it out. We don't want them. We don't need them. I will, look, again, John Henrik Clarke said, if you don't make underwear, then you shouldn't be wearing them. We don't want that. Now, I will say, there you go, Lisa. We have just, and I don't know where Johnny Storm is, but we have just acquired a 59-year-old nonprofit organization. This nonprofit was started by Jews in the early 60s, and they never used it. So what we intend to do is, and it was brought to us, and they said, okay, Pete, we're gonna give you the title on the nonprofit. And I stepped back and I thought about it, and I said, you know what we do? What we're gonna do is, I'm not gonna have a title on the nonprofit. We're gonna make that 100% Black women owned. They are going to run and control that. They are going to determine what happens with that. They are going to determine what projects they're going to do and how they're going to use that. And so one of the potential uses of the nonprofit is, again, when our resort is complete, the average per person price for a safari is about $10,000. Well, what we can do is we can make 20 accommodations available for 30 days, and we can have sisters that are in domestic violence situations brought for a retreat over to our resort. Now, because we can make those rooms available for that group, we'll write that off and we'll get 100% back from the United States government. So what this is called is self-pay reparations, right? And so now we can take the youth that are in America and we can, again, hey, you know what my dream come true would be? Wait a minute, Michelle, are you peeping this?
I saw Michelle come into the room. I was so happy.
You know she talking over there. Wait a minute.
Look at her. Look at her.
Ready for this?
There she go. Go ahead, Queen.
Are you ready for this? Here's what I really see. Here's what I really love. Instead of marketing and advertising our resort at all, 52 weeks a year, we donate those occupancies to children that need to get out of the city, to domestic violence,
violence
those
women
who are in
and
recovery,
families.
to those who are coming out of prison, to those who need an increased scope. And we make the occupancy of that resort 100% dedicated to making that space available to the different groups coming from the nonprofit. We never take a dime from our own people, and we stick Uncle Sam up like we was Bonnie and Clyde, hear me? Right? Self-pay reparations.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
These are the kinds of things that we have to build in.
That's what I'm talking about, Lena.
No, that's what I was talking about. I maybe it was a different way. That's what I was talking about. That actually exchange program you talking about. I was gonna say next for children and workers. If you take families, you bring them over, and the qualifications for that trip. Let's say one of the trips is you have a trading skill or such and such. You come over, you help us. You can help us build this or that. You stay for a month. It's a nice exchange, and your family gets a break. You come with your skills, and or you can leave with more for the youth that come. They can be given what some may be able to give them when they get there. So yeah, I was definitely on it that way. Yeah, no, I know you ain't trying to have nothing. I listen. I know what's up.
So now here's the other thing. Here's the other thing, right? Here's one of the most important things is that we have been placed in a little tiny box for 400 years. They took us, and our mother Africa has been hemorrhaging ever since they ripped us from her womb. But they brought us here and they put us inside of a little tiny box. And when they said 3/5 of a human being, that wasn't just a political designation. We have 3/5 of the responsibility of a human being. We live 3/5 of the life of a human being. We don't think about retiring. We don't think about the things that these other people are thinking about. We live 3/5. We don't control our own food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, education. These things have been removed from us for 400 years. And so what happens is, you want people to have pride in the place that they live in, but they own no share in that place. That building isn't theirs. They can be evicted from that apartment. So how can I have pride in a thing that I have no share in? I don't own it. And so now my people have a value system that is owned by the enemy. And so when they consider value, all they consider is those things that they can acquire through currency. So now today, you have our young brothers and sisters that are repping the smallest space in the world because they want to, because we're human. We want to represent something. We want to own something. We want to say this is ours. So they represent a little tiny square on a little tiny block in a little tiny city in a little tiny state, but they don't own any part of that, right? And so what happens is our scope, and then necessarily our choices and decisions are directly impacted by our scope and that little tiny box that we have been born into. And I'm telling you, when you take any one of us and you move us out of America, the scope is instantly and exponentially increased. Suddenly, we're not in a little box anymore. We're not necessarily under the context of white supremacy. We can see ourselves outside of the reflection in their eyes of evil of ourselves. We can see that we're part of something a lot bigger than just North America. It's an amazing thing. It is an amazing thing. You run into, I'm here in Boston. Let me tell you something. You run into Irish people in Boston that are from here. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a hard way to go. You run into an Italian person here in Boston. Yo, this is extreme racism, right? But let me tell you something that will surprise you. If you go to Ireland and connect with the Irish there, yo, man, there are Irish that I have met from Ireland that I consider my brother. They'll go to war with me. It's a whole different kind of human. You understand? It's not what you're used to here in America. When you see the Italians in Italy, it's not what you're used to. This is some ugly that they picked up here. There is a poison that's soaked into the ground, and every single one of these people have been supped on that poison, and they deal from it. They spit it on each other. But when you step outside of the United States of America, you will find you're the one that's walking around with your scars. When you walk around in Amsterdam, they don't notice that you're black. Shit, that ain't got nothing to do with it. The issues that you're going to face when you get outside of America are not generally going to be based on your skin color. That's here. So again, our scope is limited based on the fact that we've only been inside this little box. So when I bring my babies into Tanzania, and they go and they look at the great migration on the Serengeti, and they see 1 million wildebeests and flamingos and zebra and lion, and they see themselves reconnected to life, there is a natural metamorphosis that happens. The scope, the dreams, the goals all get turned on. Not to mention, and y'all must have heard me say, your physiology changes when you get to Africa, because suddenly you're being impacted by a sunlight that you have had restricted from you. So every time I've gone to Africa, I go for 3 weeks, a month, right? And I never bring my fingernail clippers and my grooming kits and like that, because I'm thinking it's only a month. My hair don't grow that fast. I've been working on this beard for 50 years. My hair don't grow that fast, right? And so I'm like, I don't need to bring them grooming kits. Well, I got there into that sun. 3 days later, I'm looking like a chupacabra. My hair done grown and my nails is all down like this here because it's a different sun. It's a different energy, and it's back to your origin, and your physiology responds to that. I tell you what. So just the simple process of having our people actually step foot on the continent, actually eat food that they see growing, actually be there for a period of time will change a person forever. You will never be the same once you step foot on that continent of Africa. I promise you.
I am totally sold. You ain't gotta convince me. I'm tired of this. I just as far as the containers are concerned, could there be a possibility of what could there be? Could we work on, or there be work on the how can you say, what's the right word I'm looking for? The creation of these containers by some of the people that that you may be working with over there, and then to set them, we can actually then manufacture ourselves. So
we're gonna.
instead of,
I wanna move along, right? I want you to connect with Nkosi. We have unlimited containers. We don't have to manufacture them. We don't have to do any of that. We already have unlimited containers. Somebody needs 1,000, we can deliver them right now. Okay?
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah. So, but I want you to connect with Nkosi on that.
I will.
Offline.
I'm done for today.
All right.
Yes. Thank y'all.
All right.
I love y'all.
I love you. Were there any other questions? We done went past the scheduled time. Yeah. So I wanted to just make sure, were there any questions? Because Nkosi, I know you ain't been watching the interwebs. So
you're watching the back of my eyes.
Were there any questions unasked that I have not answered?
Hello, I have a question.
Yes, brother. I've been seeing you the whole time. I've been wanting to hear your voice. Yes, my brother.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, there's another one in there. Okay, sorry. Okay, so just a little background information about parents.
Uh-oh.
I was in Ghana at the time.
You got to stay still, brother.
About the solar power workshops you were doing out there. I thought that was like a really good thing. But so now I'm back in the U.S. and I'm trying to figure out like where like my next move is. And right now I'm kind of focused on Africa is where I want to be, but I'm not set on a specific country. So when you guys are talking about becoming a member, which I'm already like, this is the talk that I needed, because I'm already like, okay, this is the group that I was looking for that's actually, producing solutions. Let me catch my breath real quick. Right, so that's actually producing solutions. So I don't know, like I have, like some money that I was able to get from like, the pandemic, unemployment, stuff like that. So I'm working with, a few thousand where I was trying to just make the smartest move possible that I could in my transition to Africa. Because I mean, right now, I'm like pretty much just working. Like I don't have any, children yet. I'm 23. I'm just, kind of out here trying to figure it out.
That's so beautiful.
So
yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah,
isn't that great? We got a baby, baby that want to get ready. I love it.
Right. So, I'm definitely trying to, produce those resources, 10,000 years into the future. And yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to begin, really, like, because I know Africa is where I want to be for sure. Like, yeah.
Let me tell you something that you're going to love, okay? To build a house in Zambia is $11,000 to build a 4-bedroom house. To build a house in Tanzania, $11,000, right? To build a house in many of these areas is so very cheap. I would suggest to you, don't pigeonhole yourself. Why have one house? Why? Why not go and, man, look, why not spend your year? See, here's the thing. Here's the thing that's hard for us to understand, okay? You step outside of America, right? And suddenly, the low, dull hum of racism is gone. You don't have to spend energy counteracting constant attacks in your life. Right. You don't have to spend time doing all of this, and we spend our lives doing it. So what happens is, when you stop and get into Africa, and you look at what it is that we're doing, we produce that food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, and security, right? If you have all of those different things, well, what are you gonna do tomorrow? You understand? Well, shit, why not go to Zambia and put some work in over in Zambia at our stores? Or why not go over to Nigeria and see what it's like there? Why not go over to Kenya and check out Kiama and what they're doing there? At that point, you have options. The idea of freedom is something that is almost unfathomable to us. What will you do? How will you choose to spend your day, brother? Now, there are things that you're gonna have to do. If you like home fries, then you're gonna have to get your potatoes together. You're gonna have to pull your onions out. You're gonna have to get your peppers, and all of these things should be on your land, yeah? So you're gonna have to take care of the things in order for you to eat tomorrow. A farmer doesn't plant the seed today and assume that he's gonna eat tonight. There's some planning, there's some effort, there's some discipline. There's gonna be help around you. There are people there that have always been there, that want jobs, that wanna show you how to handle your livestock and how to handle your business. So we're gonna use all of that. But I promise you, there's gonna come a day where you're sitting there and you're gonna say, okay, so here's another thing a lot of people don't know. The TV is the smallest thing in any African home. And when you walk into an African home, the TV is smaller than your laptop screen. In America, you come into somebody's house, the focal point is the TV. It's the biggest thing in the house, right? In Africa, the TV is the smallest thing. When they wake up in the morning, they get up, they go out. So what's gonna happen to my brothers and sisters that are used to America? You're gonna get to Africa, you're gonna wake up in the morning, you're gonna say, oh damn, I'm free. I don't have to go anywhere. What am I gonna do now? Man, you think I'm lying? Ask Jay. I'm telling you, ask Jay. You wake up and say, well now Jay is an entrepreneur and brother, right? And so my brother's eyes are open and he's moving. But the fact is, once you have specific things in place, bruh, what do you want to do? You know, where do you want to be? So my suggestion is that you don't pigeonhole yourself. We have the capacity, we have the reputation, we have the ability to ensure your funds. Man, build a house in Zambia, build one in Tanzania, build one in Nigeria. Yo, we got land in Ghana, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think the land in Ghana was 1,500 with the title on the land.
Yeah, 1,500 per acre.
1,500. Go look at everybody and everything that you're seeing out there and see if you can find that. And we've demonstrated and shown the physical title. That is a legal and legitimate title to that land for 1,500. Build you a house. Brandon Rogers can't wait to build houses for y'all in Ghana. I can't wait to get Brandon involved. Do you hear me? So build you a house in Ghana. We're gonna stop living under the context of white supremacy. It's not this or that. I suggest to you, it should be this and that. You understand? Right. Get you some West Africa in you and some jollof, and let's just go on into East Africa and get us some ugali. You understand what I'm saying? Let's do that.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I feel when it comes to relocating back to the continent. Like, I do, like, as you know, I feel like the matter of a generation is when you producing like that. Like, I don't know, like when people ask me about like the cultural differences and things like that, like I try to, you know, be honest that there is some things that we're not used to that they do in Ghana that might offend us or something like that. So it's best to, you know, give that heads up so there's no, you know, confusion when that comes to play. Like
it at a 10, you'll offend them worse, but you'll get over it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it just comes with time, and you know, it comes with, you know, relearning the language and, you know, different things like that. And so when you were talking about, you know, like building those homes and how we own them forever, like that's the number one thing I try to tell people. Like I've been trying to tell my family. Like I was just in South Carolina where my father is from, and there, like most of my elders, they all have land. Like they have anywhere from like, you know, maybe a few acres to, you know, half acre, you know, including their home on it. So they're like that last, you know, that they're coming from that generation where land and what you do with your land is how you feed yourself. And so I'm trying to, what I want to do also is kind of like bridge, like essentially bridge that gap to my generation getting back to knowing that, you know, seeing where their food is coming from is is really, you know, is really what matters at the end of the day, and not being so dependent. And, you know, because I mean, what everything that's happened with this virus has, I've just been like alarming my friends, like, I mean, you know, like Black people first, but I mean, really for the majority of America, like in a matter of a few months, like people weren't able to feed their families. And if you don't see a problem with that, then I can't, you know, I don't want to say I can't help you, but like, we gotta, like, this is a real emergency, you know, like the food security is like, and shelter as well. You know, everybody, you know, certain states have had their, you know, their rent assistance and stuff. But I mean, even that gets a little funny when, you know, it's time to for that to trickle down to who really needs it. So
this should have been a red flag to everybody to see
5 years ago
how fragile this is. But I'm going to tell you something, you know, and here's the interesting thing. When Emancipation Proclamation happened, right? There was many years where everybody didn't know that they were free, and they were afraid to leave the plantation. I know people whose families didn't leave plantation till the 1960s. They were afraid. They didn't think they could get jobs. They didn't think they could make it, right? So, but those that did leave, let me tell you about these people. These were some bad people. They could migrate as a group, stop in a given area, raise food in that area, have a harvest and a banquet, sell some of the food to the locals, and keep it pushing. Let me tell you, the reason that unions came into being in America is because they were having all of these immigrants from Hungary, from Lithuania, from Italy, from Portugal, from Germany, from Eastern European, from all of these different places that were coming in here, and they were coming poor, tired, huddled masses with nothing but shirts on their backs with no skills. They had nothing to offer the new world that they arrived in. So they didn't get the jobs. Guess who had the skills? The skills were owned by us. We could build the buildings. We built the railroads. We were the agricultural experts. So we had all of the skills, and they had nothing but fleas and bed bugs. So what happened was they produced the unions in order to ensure that the jobs would be held to those skillless, bed bug carrying immigrants, right?
Don't forget them, the polio and smallpox.
Yeah, don't forget those diseases now. You know, they jacked up the world.
So, but what happened is, what they did was they removed those skills from us intentionally, to the point where the people don't know. Man, you gotta hear Lisa. If you ask somebody where a chicken come from, they think it comes from a pack. You know what I'm saying? They think it comes from plastic. Like, if you, right? They don't know where their food comes from. And this is a crime because it makes us forever a slave. The way that you turn somebody into a slave is to make them fully dependent upon you for everything. Then they will never leave. Right?
Time to take that back.
This is how the chickens, you can let your chickens run out because you know what? They're going to come home to roost because there's one place that they eat, right? And this is what has controlled us. I train my dog, and the way that you train a dog is using 3 things: lure, mark, reward. I give him a snack. I put it in front of him. I get him wanting the snack. He pays attention to me. He'll go anywhere I want, anywhere I want. I will mark the behavior. Good boy. And then the reward, I'll give him the reward. This is what has been used to program us and to have us in a condition where we never look outside of this.
We were scared to go to Africa. I'm not an African. I wasn't born in Africa. Sometimes you hear that mess.
Yeah, man.
Man, I'm like, no. You're not an African. You're an idiot. I'm here to tell you. Bottom line, if you're here in America and you're under the 3 things that my brother just labeled, you better know for a fact you're still a slave. Yeah. This is 2020. You are done being slaves. You have the intelligence and the intellect to decipher whether or not you want to leave your confinement. We are not the lions in the cage. We're in the cage, but we don't have to be afraid to walk out and go back home.
And so
now is the time.
Building on that, building on what he just said and what you just said, please understand, when the Hungarians came, when the Lithuanians came, when the Italians and the Portuguese and the Eastern European came. To this day in 2020, they don't understand that they signed up for slavery too. They don't know they're slaves too. Because, and when I said that if a man controls your food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, and education, I didn't say nothing about you being black. It doesn't matter who you are. If somebody controls those things, that somebody is your master. So what's funny is these white people don't know that they're slaves too. They looking at you. They think it's you. So let me tell you something. Here's the funny thing. We are the ones in the best position to be able to rise above this because they're still under the hypnosis. They don't know. They're buying into that red, white, and blue. And they're buying into that shit, right? We are the ones, we are the only people in America that did not trade every element of our being for social mobility. All of them did. They compromised themselves. They traded everything for social mobility. So they bought into this. We couldn't. I could do anything I wanted and I was still going to be black, right? So I couldn't gain that social mobility. So what we have, my dear brother, Kamani, what we have that no one else has is we have truth. We have our dignity. We have a vision. We have our unity. We have our compassion. We have our love. And they have things. And I tell you what they have had is a facade. They've had a facade of what a healthy, happy household looks like. But on the inside, they're molesting each other and they're hurting each other's children. They've always had a facade. What we have had is the stuff. You see, they have never had the stuff, just the facade. We ain't never had the facade. We've always had the stuff. So we have the power to change everything for ourselves. All we got to do is believe in it. I have always said, everything that we need is in our hands. Let me tell you something. Reparations are owed. No questions. Absolutely no questions.
I don't want the money.
I'm not going to stand and wait till an immoral, inhuman jackass comes to the point that it's time to do right by me, right? I'm not going to do that. The fact is, if you can't build your way out with what you have right now, then giving you more will not help you. You hear me? If you can't use what you have right now, the Vietnamese people fought the most mighty military power in human history, and the Vietnamese people had nothing. They fought the mightiest military power in history, and they had nothing, man. They were, I'm telling you some of the tactics, some of my brothers, Wilbert, you might know. Some of my older brothers might know. But what they did was they took stakes and they sharpened them and they dipped them in feces and urine, and they dug little ditches and they put the stakes under the ground. So that way, when the soldiers walked across, they depressed and that pierced their foot. And it took 3 men off the field of battle. The 1 man that stepped on it and the 2 men to carry him. When the soldiers sat down and ate their meals with the MREs, they would throw their trash on the ground. The Viet Cong would collect that trash at night. And they would take and turn those containers into improvised explosion devices. They used the trash of the European to defeat them. So what I suggest to you is, if you cannot use what is in your hand, has anybody ever seen Spook Who Sat by the Door?
Who didn't?
You need to use what is readily available where you are. And Cozy, you need to use what is readily available to you where you are to produce your solutions. And if you can't do that, then more will not help you. You hear me? You got what you need. You got what you need. Use it. Man, let me tell you something. I got into
let's get a little taste.
Let me go, wait a second. I got into Uganda. And I seen a man that needed to do work on the 2nd story of our hotel. And I saw him bring out a ladder. Now his ladder was 2 symmetrical pieces of wood with wooden rungs in between, lashed together, and fastened. And I looked at that and said, oh, that looks dangerous. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Before they had aluminum ladders, what the hell did you think they used? Huh? They used a ladder. This man just made his ladder, made his tools, made the things that he needed, and he was doing it. And my westernized mind was like, I need an aluminum ladder. The hell is the matter with you? No, that man made a ladder and he's using it, right? You use what you have, okay? That was a long-winded, and I don't mean to, again, you asked for some advice. I'm gonna tell you, don't relegate. No, I'm saying West Africa is wonderful. You will love it. East Africa is wonderful. You will love it. South Africa is beautiful. You will love it. Central Africa is beautiful. Don't just relegate yourself to one place. Let's build somewhere every place. You hear me?
Yeah. I
And
feel
you're
that
young enough
100%.
to pull it off, so get it done.
Yeah, like I have a lot of questions. Like I might like
You don't have
stuff
no
that
more
I can
questions. You
wait
got
till we have a
answers
sit
now.
down or something.
You don't have any more questions. You don't have any more questions. You got answers. You just got
Yeah.
answers. You don't have any more questions. Only thing you got to do, move.
Man.
Get it done.
Yeah.
If you don't have the resources, you have to learn how to become resourceful.
Say it again. Go ahead,
Somebody always have something that you need, and they have an abundance of it, and they're ready to share for mutual benefit, and it doesn't have to be financially.
Exactly.
I was looking for some bees. I wanted some bees because my zucchinis didn't do good this year, my strawberries, because the bees weren't pollinating like they should. So I found this guy, and I rolled past this because I've been seeing these bee boxes ever since the beginning of spring. And we were stuck in traffic, and I told my husband, I was like, let's just ride past there one more time. It ain't gonna hurt. We already stuck in traffic. Rolled past there, and I finally saw the brother standing out there in his yard. This man is in the middle of the city of Detroit. I didn't even see all this. I was just focused on the bees. He got hogs, chickens, ducks, turkeys, goats.
In Detroit.
In the middle of Detroit.
But that's
He took, because there's so much land in Detroit, like they knocked down all the houses. Like you can ride blocks and only see one house on the block. Maybe if somebody in that house, it still might just be the last abandoned house good enough to stand. And that's what it was around him. He was like, I didn't even want to start gardening. That wasn't the thing. After they tore down all the houses in the block radiuses around him, people just started throwing trash and dumping trash out there. So he was cleaning up the trash and was just planting flowers. He was just trying to beautify the neighborhood. He got tired of it looking like that. And somebody caught wind of it, saw it, and that snowballed into him getting all type of offers from gardeners, free stuff. He got so much stuff over there. He has 4 blocks worth of stuff over there, and most of it he got from free, donated, or a hookup where he wouldn't have to pay, industry prices for the stuff that he needed to maintain this garden. It's a farm. It ain't no garden no more. It's a full-blown farm. So I want you to, and I'm saying that to say, I was looking for one thing, and I came up on more resources than I would ever
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Ever need.
Yes.
And I want you to focus that. Whatever questions that's boggling your mind, first of all, write that stuff down. Get it out your head, because you don't want to be walking around with a whole bunch of confusion in your mind, and then your mind won't be clear enough to focus on the realities around you and what's going on here and now, because that's really all you have. So you have to make yourself resourceful. You have to put yourself in a position to find the resources that you're looking for. They're not going to fall out the sky. Ain't no hippie on no cloud finna come swooping down with them. None of that's going to happen, okay? You have to get out here. And I think one of our major things is that we're lacking in our neighborhood is trust. we don't trust each other to engage each other. Let me say that. And I think that's what's
slowly
holding a
leaving.
lot of
It's
stuff
slowly
back.
leaving.
That's what's holding a lot of stuff back. I don't have that fear. I don't have that fear. If I reach out to you and you just not my cup of tea or whatever, then I keep it moving. It's not like it's no love lost. Like, I'm just gonna keep it moving. We have such a fear of emotional, like we so wrapped up in our emotions here in America. Like, everybody just so emotionally reactionary. Like, oh my God, somebody broke my heart. Oh my God, ain't nobody broke your heart. Ain't nobody did nothing. Like, people have their own journeys and stuff, and it's not wrapped around you. We so selfish, we think the world wraps around us, and it doesn't, okay? People have their own journeys, they got their own lives, and if you are not a part of it, keep it moving, okay? Find your resources and do you. Make your life the fullest, okay? I agree with Peter. I never stayed too many places at once. Like, this is a universe, okay?
Say
And
it
we
again.
limit ourselves by the European books of how far you can go. I don't believe that shit for a second. I'm gonna go where I want to go, okay? I don't give a fuck where it's at. You just gonna have to stop me, okay?
See, that's my sister there, y'all. Y'all better know that. That's my sister.
Wherever I want to go. I don't have no fear. I remember one time I went to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I had on a blue shirt and some blue jean pants and stuff, and it was like some Bloods and Crips and shit in the park or something. I got on the swing in the park, and they was looking at me. I don't care about.
Where your stars got tied down.
You muted, baby.
Let me see. I don't care about none of that. That's not where my energy lies. My energy is not wrapped around fear, and I don't give nobody control over my life. I'm a human being.
You muted again.
One of the kids hit it.
They done muted you again.
I'm on a Zoom call. Okay, Xavier. Daddy wants to. That's my husband keep calling me. Okay. Yeah. I don't care about going nowhere. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about no fake ass titles. You a president, you a chief. What that black man saying every other time, okay, I'm a white lesbian. If you this and this and you just name yourself some shit, I'm just gonna name myself some shit too. I don't care about none of that, okay? I'm gonna go where I want to go. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Period, point blank. I don't feel like no other human being.
You know something? I saw something. I saw something yesterday that floored me. It took me to the floor. It was a big F-150, big and nasty truck you ever gonna see in life. And on the back of it, it says, "I identify as a Prius."
Yeah. Yeah.
I hit the ground. I hit the ground laughing so hard I couldn't control myself.
Stop boxing yourself into stuff, okay? Start unchecking the boxes that they say you are. If you want to fly a plane, fly a damn plane. If you want to be an astronaut, be a damn astronaut. Whatever you want, stop. Uncheck them damn boxes that they have put us in this place. That's your first step.
That's right.
I'm like Peter. Hey, I will go to Africa. Don't stop me. I'm buying property everywhere. Everywhere they say, oh, I'm buying me a house there, and I stay there 2-3 months. And then just like I do here in America, I stay here in Michigan. When it gets too damn cold, I go to my house in Louisiana. You see what I'm saying? I'm going over to Texas. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't box yourself into stuff. And I find shit cheap and free. It's always some cheap free stuff. People think you gotta go. We gotta pay 30 years worth of money. I'm paying nobody. Mortgage on me messed up. I just bought
when you
3 more lots behind my house.
Anywhere you go on this planet Earth,
Look in your lips.
you are the
Your lips too much.
you are the star in your life. You are the star in your life. So there is, the only reason that law enforcement is so prevalent in our communities is because we do not self-correct. If we self-corrected, there would be no reason for them to come into our communities. And if you have the capacity to self-correct, if you are a moral being, if you are a humane being, then you should go anywhere on this planet Earth that you choose to, and anything that you choose to manifest, you do it. You do it. I don't have to worry about the laws in this place or that place, because the law that governs me is greater than their laws. So I don't need you to tell me what I can or cannot do. I'm going to show you what was formerly impossible is in fact possible. So you got to have a brave heart, young brother. You got to have a brave heart. You hear me? You got to know that there's no obstacle on this planet Earth that is not designed for you to get over it. You understand me?
100%. If I could piggyback on that for the young brother, maybe I can give you guys a little bit of backstory about how I ended up in Africa, and then I'll give you guys a chance to respond before I check out. But I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. So basically, I had always planned to live in Africa at some point in time, ever since I was a teenager, and for various reasons. But we had the opportunity to come because my wife got a job opportunity, but we didn't know anybody, and so she took the opportunity. I came and spent some time and visited, and I hit it off immediately. So the journey for me in Africa has been really, really, like, I mean, the only words I can really use to describe it is kind of like miraculous, because I had no intentions on doing business in Africa, but I have companies in Zimbabwe, I have companies in Uganda, and I'm looking at another opportunity in Nigeria for next year. But basically, my history, young brother, is that, you know, I have a little bit of tech background and you know, dabbled in some real estate stuff like that. So my advice for you with the funds that you have is preserve as much as possible. Do not let it slip through your fingers, and do not invest too many of your eggs into one basket right now. If you're working with limited capital, you want to try to multiply as much of it as you can. Like that's
Right,
paramount.
yeah.
And whatever you put your money into, make sure that it's something that you can do remotely, or something you can direct remotely from you know, different locations, because that was key for us to preparing to move to Africa. Was my income streams were virtual, and most of them, or, you know, tied to, you know, property investment. So that gave us a little breathing room for us to be able to move, because I have 2 teenagers. So we moved the entire family to Zimbabwe. And fortunately for me, we were staying at this villa, and the owner of the villa happens to be one of the wealthiest guys in Zimbabwe. And he was looking for someone to teach him how to trade Forex for about 4 or 5 years before he met me. And so when he met me and he found out that I was already a teacher in that capacity, we hit it off. And within 3 months, he was flying me to Victoria Falls for safaris. He was, you know, offering me opportunities to invest in different projects with him in Zimbabwe. And he told me, hey, you guys are just here for a year or so, but if you come back to Zimbabwe, I'll teach you how to invest in Africa. And so I've been able to do that. I mean, this guy, you can look him up. He's a very wealthy, very prominent Zimbabwean, but he's a genuine brother. We're like brothers to this day. And so I was able to set up some companies in Zimbabwe. I have a farm there. We're doing honey, and we're also, we just got approved for our hemp license in Zimbabwe for cultivation. And so we're doing some amazing things in Zimbabwe. And so, but the situation got really tough in Zim. And I met some amazing people. Even right now, there's some Black Americans, young ladies and young brothers who have moved to Zimbabwe in the last, you know, few months or several weeks they're now doing some things. So it's many of us here. Also here in Uganda, there's many Black American brothers who are here as well that I've learned about in the last several months. But it got tough in Zim economically and politically. So I moved the family. We all moved to Uganda. And when I got here, I was fortunate enough that the person who picked me up from the airport was the son of the Attorney General. And so that immediately put me in good company and opened up a lot of doors. Now, I know that won't happen for everybody, but my point is, Africa is a magical place. Africa, one of the things that really prompted me to get into business in Zimbabwe initially, which was my first foray into business in Africa, was exporting paintings and art. And that again started from trying to help some young painters I met who are extremely talented, but there's no market for their products in Zimbabwe. So I learned how to export from Africa through Zimbabwe. And so all of these different things led to all of the opportunities that developed in Zimbabwe. And, you know, one of the things that led to it was a guy explaining to me this. He said, you know, the funny thing about you Americans is, and the Attorney General repeated the same thing here in Uganda. It's the exact same statement. You know, you guys have the ideas. We have resources here. We have manpower. We have natural resources. We have capital. These are cash economies. You know, these places, there's money here. I've walked into rooms and seen millions of US, you know, stacked on tables. There's cash here, okay? But they don't have the innovative ideas and ways of doing things, and they don't have the equipment. So they're looking for people with fresh, innovative ideas. And the guy told me, hey, if you got an idea, we can find the money and the resources to get it done. And sure enough, you know, I put that into motion, and now I'm doing business in 2 different countries in Africa. And I'm very well established here on a lot of different levels now. And I've only been in Uganda about 20 months, and I spent about 2.5 years in Zimbabwe, and I've achieved a tremendous amount of progress. So you can do it, but you got to get, you know, you got to make sure you're thinking entrepreneurially when you come to Africa, you know, and you can't shortchange yourself. Like they said, don't pigeonhole yourself into any one thing. I never imagined being in agribusiness. There's a brother from Alabama named Henry Jenkins. You can look him up on Facebook. He had a computer company in Alabama, and he sold it for like $1 million. He moved to Zimbabwe, and now he has a gold mine valued at $1.6 billion. You can look him up on Facebook. I can show you videos of me at the mine with him, and I became a small, investment partner. But anyway, the point is, brother, there's anything you want to do in Africa, you can do it. But you got to think entrepreneurially. You got to plan strategically. You got to map everything out. This is not just hop up and move situation. But if you're single, you ain't got no kids. You got a lot of flexibility with you. But make sure you plan yourself now and setting up some type of remote and semi-passive income stream, because you're gonna need it. There's no jobs here, you're gonna need it.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just spent like the past 10 months in Africa. I went to Ghana with my mom for year of return in December, and then she came back to America in January, and I decided to stay because actually my father, my stepdad, the man who pretty much raised me, he's actually from Sierra Leone, but moved to U.S. when he was very young. So there's a lot of like misconnection even on that side, because at that point, when I went to my first trip to Africa, to Sierra Leone in 2018 with him, that was about like the 5th time I want to say he's been since he moved when he was younger. And so a lot of what we were learning about just even the village that, he was born in, where he comes from, even they have, thousands of allotted, acres of land to them. And so, there's some things that we're trying to, figure out what to do with that and stuff like that. So it's just, so outside of like me and my stepfather, and then my grandfather on my birth father's side, who actually went to Zimbabwe on a mission trip a few years ago, we're the only ones that have actually, been to Africa. So even with, I know like what I tried, like the things that I've like learned just as far as just the quality of life and like how you can actually live instead of survive, like is what I've been telling my family about, the past 3 weeks since I've been here. I'm like, yo, like, look, this is what you can do with, or like, this is what you can do with just renting. But think about owning, like the houses that people are showing in Gambia where you can rent, 6-7 bedrooms for $300-$400 a month. And
Absolutely.
Yes, like when they're comparing it to like how they're living in South Carolina, like they're seeing it, and I'm just telling them that like this is attainable. Like I know how hard it is to get people to just get up and move. Like that doesn't have to be, the goal, it's just to get you to see like there's other ways of life and like other ways to sustain life as well. Like, with different businesses that haven't been, brought over there or,
brother,
or done.
You know what? And so we really have to close this. We've been
Oh,
going
yeah.
too long, but I'm gonna say something, right? First of all, the average person in America that is considering repatriating to Africa, the average person is likely going to go into Africa knowing that they can pay that $300 a month rent. They will likely be there for 2 years. They will drain everything that they have ever had, and they will be back in America in 2 years' time. because there are no jobs. Just like Jay said, you cannot go to Africa like a refugee. What has happened today and has never been before is that the information that we have gathered on frecklebacks over the last 400 years has been completely useless to us. It has been useless information, but let me tell you where it becomes valuable. Not only has it been useless, but every single word that every single Black man and woman on this call ever says in America, they doubt you. Immediately, just because of your skin, they doubt you, they question you. They have minimized your value to try to make you feel like you ain't nothing. But guess what? The information that you have gathered, the things that you see and have seen, make you very valuable to Africa. You have seen the successful models and you have seen the failed models. You have seen the different things that work and you've seen the things that don't work. For example, in America, in order to provide phone service for everyone, they ran lines above the ground across the United States of America and across the entire country. Well, guess what? Today in 2020, we don't need lines. We've got wireless technology. So we don't have to build out the infrastructure. We don't have to duplicate the mistakes that the colonizer made in order to be able to produce the infrastructure that will make us a technological giant, right? So again, it is important. Exactly what Jay just said to you. And Akon said it. Whatever it is that you do here, plan to do it there. Now, the reason that the Ledge Group makes sense, and again, it speaks to 100% of what you just heard Jay saying. The reason the Ledge Group makes sense is because before we get there, we already own tow trucks and recovery business. We already own retail locations. We already own passive income. We already own a resort. We already own these things. So by the time you land there, we have built an economy that can cover you. And that is the logic of the Ledge Group. It is not to go over there one at a time and hope that we can sell soap and make a living on that. No, it is to go over there intelligently as a group, produce economies, move into those economies, and build those things that you want. Let me tell you something. We're going to get to the resort, and we're going to be sitting around, and I'm going to look over at you, and I'm going to say, wait a minute. Ain't nobody making no fried chicken? Hold up, then we need to open up a chicken shack, brother, because somebody needs to be making some chicken out here. And then you know what else? My coif is going to get wrong, and I'm going to need somebody to hook me up. And so we're going to have to open up some place to do my coif. And then you understand what I'm saying? Organically, what happens is we begin to build those things that we necessarily need, and we produce our own economy. I'll tell you, and I don't want to go too far, but I'll tell you some of the things that we have been speaking to as of late, and that is to create our own currencies. So when you come to our resort, you can only spend our currency. So you're going to trade, you're going to see the exchange rate associated with the US dollar. You're going to see the exchange rate associated with the Tanzanian shilling. And you're going to see a value associated with dealing with our currency. And our currency is all that can be used on any of the services and goods that you find on the resort. So we increase a value. Now, as we've increased a value and created a value, we then provide different goods and services throughout the entire continent that are using that currency. And so again, what we do is we produce our own, we become economy makers. You understand? And so this is the logic, right? We have to, it is not enough for people to go, expend their resources, spend 2 years in the Gambia and bounce back to America penniless and starting from nothing. That doesn't work. That doesn't fuel us. Again, I could have gone to Africa a long time ago myself. I could have done this for me. It's not about me. It says, there's a proverb that says, cross the river together and the alligator cannot eat us. So if we go together, we go with power. We go with, man, where's my brother Alfonso, who is a master plumber? Where's my brother Phil Jones, who is an engineer? We can go with power and with the ability to change absolutely everything, with a plan to build the infrastructure to become a superpower within 20 years. We can do these things. We can use it in our hand right now, right? So this
we selling shea butter. I don't know what you talking about. I'm selling shea butter and dye sheet.
Can't stand you. But look, we got to wrap this up. We've been doing it a long time now. We done went over time.
Okay, real quick. Okay, so I have a background in like social media managing and media, mostly doing photography and video. And what I've kind of changed my content over to was obviously, you know, like my travel experiences throughout Africa and other places in the world. And my ultimate goal is to do like a media company / film production company. So what, like, I know like the location kind of, I don't know the location where I choose to be in Africa. And well, to start off would be like, or what would you like recommend in that field? Like, I know like there's, you know, possibilities and, you know, really, I mean, you can do anything with video production. You can promote, you know, real estate, agricultural things. Yeah, so I don't know. That's why I like location really, I don't know. I'm just kind of torn, I guess.
So what happens is, here's how to look at it. If you want to see culture, people, traditions, and customs, go to West Africa. If you want to see animals and landscapes and wide open spaces, go to East Africa. Right? And so that kind of should give you an idea. The beautiful presentations that I saw in Ghana were amazing, right? The tradition, the custom. But let me tell you something. It was also amazing to hear something and look up and see a giraffe just standing there eating some food, man. That was also amazing. So they both have their charms. And where you're talking about visual art, yeah, brother, again, Jay said it, I'm gonna say it. You can't be put into a box, Brother Kimani. You are far too big for that. So I expect to see some animals. I expect to see the pyramids. I expect to see the Dogon. I expect to see the cultural practices. I expect to see all of this coming out of you, young brother. And furthermore, I expect to see some of it for the ledge. How you like that?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
All right. Is there anyone that has a quick question that they might want to ask? Nanya, you've been patient. Look like you wanted to say something. Ask something. Anything?
Yeah, that Peter can ask without writing a dissertation.
Oh, is that what he said? You know what? He's already asleep. Y'all don't pay no attention to him. He's asleep already. He's sleepwalking.
Oh, silly.
Thank you. Greetings. This is Andy Rodmariel. I just wanted to just say how powerful this Zoom has been, and everything that you touched on, I've already been talking about it. Like my brother Nani Ibrahim El was stating earlier, we talk about these things and we've been keeping up with what you're doing, but now collectively, I said the same thing that you talked about, we're going to implement this. And I thank you, I appreciate you and that lead group. And everything that you said about with the brother Warren G, is that you have to get inside to know what's going on. You can't expect to have all the information out for everybody to try to critique and bring down. But I appreciate you all. I appreciate each and every one of you. We're going to make this happen.
Yes, indeed, brother. It is.
Yes, sir, my brother. Yes, sir, my brother.
To have you all, and I really, really appreciate
peace, my brother,
having this time and interfacing. And I promise, what we'll do in the Grand Risings is we'll schedule one of these once a month, and we'll do a debrief. We'll see where we are, what the level set is. If people have projects that they want to bring and we discuss and we see how we mold and massage a project into the place where we can do it. Look, this is going to be your time, right? This is never going to be about one man. It can never be a spear where they have one focal point. It must be a hammer. That means each and every one of you is the ledge, not me. We are the ledge group. So I'm gonna tell you, I love y'all, man, and I appreciate haven't had this opportunity.
And I got to say one thing: if you're here and you're in the Grand Rising, it's time to step up. It's time to come into the fold.
Yeah.
Time to come in the door through the front, sit around and enjoy yourself, and get busy. It's time to do the work.
That's right.
There will be no guarantees that everything was going to last for another 20 years while you sit around and wait to decide that we've made the right move.
Right.
You got to make the move.
Right.
We're now putting all of the onus back where it belongs on the individuals to make the hammer strong.
That's right. And let me tell you, I'm going to close it up and say to you this. Marcus Garvey galvanized more Africans in the history of us in America before or since. And he didn't have no cell phone. He didn't have no social media. He didn't have none of these different things. Malcolm X, let me tell you something. Malcolm X, I don't know how many of you have been to NOI meetings, but there has never been a time where the security has been pulled off of the front door at any NOI meeting since the day at the Audubon ballroom and after. It has never happened. Malcolm X is waiting now, and I want you to understand what I'm about to say. I'm not taking anything away from my heroes. Those are my heroes. But I'm telling you that Malcolm X is waiting for us to make him great. He came and taught us what we were supposed to do. What needs to happen is we need to implement it. We need to do what he said. We need to, Marcus Garvey is waiting for us. He put something on the wire for us to be able to pick up and move with. He's waiting for us to make him great. Do you understand me? Malcolm is waiting for us to make him great. We are here. It is time now. It wasn't time then. They came and dropped the word. Now we move it forward. You hear me?
Can I just say something really quick about what you just said? It's kind of interesting. For last, I will say about a week, something just came to my mind. I said, our great leaders, teachers, masters, you know, that are melaninated, that laid the foundation for us to become great within ourselves and as a community and stuff, is not celebrated on a regular. And I said, we celebrate everyone else, but not our own. It's just like, you know, I start writing down the names of the great leaders that we have. So for their sunrise and their sunset, we supposed to be focused. I don't care who they are, what they did and stuff. We need to start recognizing ourselves. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to say. And it was right on point. I appreciate that.
Yeah, brother. Thank you. And again, thank you all. And we'll do this.
We appreciate you all.
We'll do this again in a month, and the recording is available. You can share it and review it. And again, it has been my honor and my pleasure to address you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good one. Peace and blessings, everybody.
Peace and blessings to all.
All right, peace, y'all.
Peace and love.